It's too bad that washing machine's still going. It's like fucking loud in here. That's why you use this mic instead of that mic. And this mic sounds like garbage.
Okay.
But and you don't really know when you're live, but we're probably live now. I think so. I think we're live now. Welcome to the report, everybody. Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel. I'm just setting up the podcast as per usual. It always takes me a couple minutes. And despite it being a special day around here, no one from the show is yet in the waiting room. So it's just me with my buddy Tyler here, though. He's come up and my good fishing brother. And we're here to talk about fishing on the show tonight, of course. And as well, we're here to talk about all the weather and all the stuff that's going on. I'm almost through step one here. You just have to give me a minute here. So generally it's like the first minute of the show is what happens is I got to set it up because I'm not really professional. A lot of people are like professional. They have this stuff already done ahead of time. Whereas I don't even know how to do that stuff. So I have to do it like
on the fly kind of thing.
Yeah. You know, and I guess I could get better, but who cares? I mean,
well, if it's working, why change it? Or why try and fix it?
So for those of you who don't know, it's my birthday show today, and Frankie will be on tonight. And of course, there you go. We are actually live right now. Hey, Teresa, good to see you. And as you know, Frankie McDonald is he's not just a fan of the Ottawa Senators, but the Ottawa Senators are a fan of Frankie McDonald, as a matter of fact, too. So it's a big matter of contention around here tonight with the Ottawa Senators and the Maple Leafs lining up to play. Starting off the Battle of Ontario, I think it's the Battle of Canada, though. It's the best thing going on in hockey right now. I mean, is Edmonton even a team? No. Is anyone worried that Winnipeg's going to lose to St. Louis? No. I mean, this is the battle. This is the game right now. It's the one that matters. So here we go. Almost got everything live and going here. Always takes a minute. Then we'll start looking at some weather reports, though. First of all, bring you up to speed on what some temperatures are going to be for Friday. I think we're going to see up to 23 degrees in Kamloops, so I'm looking forward to that. Although maybe a degree cooler than we said it would be in Williams Lake. So that's, you know, the trade-off. That's the trade-off. Okay, one more minute here. Cheers, everybody. Almost done here. The setup is almost over. How painful. I know I'm like every week starting. It's like, you want people to watch your show, Joey? How about you have a show that starts off without you like flailing around for the first fucking 5 minutes? Trying to, but I'm trying to put the word out on the internet. That's what I'm trying to do right now, friends, because no one would watch the show otherwise, except for a couple of you diehards who I appreciate very much. It is the birthday show around here, and it's not just my birthday, but next week is Frankie McDonald's birthday as well. He turns 41 years old. Frankie McDonald does. So, and it's the birthday episode for both me and Frankie, and it's the hockey episode because our two teams are going to go fucking head to head, and I can't wait. It's going to be absolutely awesome because we all know that Ottawa Senators can never do anything good for very long. They're a doomed team. It can't go well. Okay, that's set up to go. Okay, first to the first map. It's always weird when you turn it back on, you see your face, and you're like, oh, I've been looking at...
It was a bit awkward.
Looking at something else for a long time, then you forget that your face is there. Get out of the way, stuff. Okay, well, what's going on in Canada right now? So here's Mark Engels. Meteorologist Mark Engels is showing up. Excellent. Right now we got air quality statement, Burns Lake area, Smithers, that kind of area. No big deal. Some weather up on Haines Junction near the White Pass Friday evening. Hazardous winter conditions are expected there. The never-ending blizzard warning is back. Winter storm warning this time. Tonight to Friday night up on the Dempster Highway. And look, it's like over on the Northwest Territories side as well, up to 15 centimeters, 50, 60 kilometer-hour winds. But I mean, really what I'm trying to show you here is there's not that much going on. You have to go up to like Resolute to find a weather story right now. That's how far you got to go. Blizzard warning up there. Heavy snow that will persist until Monday. Congratulations. Happy April. Rainfall, special advisory up on east shores of Lake Superior. But other than that, it's pretty quiet out there. Pretty quiet out there right now. And if we go have a look at what's going on. Are you there, Mark?
Yes. I was just being patient.
Oh wow, yeah, you just gotta cut me in because I can't see what's going on right now.
Hey,
Hey,
you
but
jerk, talk to me.
I talk to you now.
Happy
Meteorologist Mark
birthday.
Engels. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is meteorologist Mark Engels, everybody down there in down the south coast. How's things down there? Looks nice and sunny and wonderful, of course.
Yes, I'm sitting out on the balcony. It's a little chilly now, the sun's setting, and we got a little breeze, but yeah, I don't know if I'll stay out here the whole time. I just figured I'd test some things out.
It looks cool. I mean, I got the big screen, so you're only this big right now to me.
Right.
And I realize I better turn down the TV volume. I'm not using my regular mic, and this will pick up
I
that a
don't
lot.
hear it for what it's worth.
Okay, that's good to know. Perhaps the fact that it's facing this way will mitigate the problem somewhat. It could get up to 23 degrees in Kamloops tomorrow, meteorologist Mark. This is my friend Tyler, who's one of
Hi,
my fishing.
Tyler.
Mike, how's it going today?
Good. How are you?
Doing wonderful.
He's come up here, and we've done some big time fishing, and we'll show some photos of our hilarious fishing trip in the past and talk about that, and maybe get some of his opinion on fishing as we get into the show tonight.
All right.
And
We're a real rural radio show now.
yeah, well, that's the kind of content you get here on Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel. Here comes Brennan Hauk just in time to talk about this Alberta nonsense. Waterton Park Gate getting 22 centimeters of snow yesterday.
Yeah, Ryan Ventalainen mentioned that when he landed in Calgary today, he got some snow.
Well, I have a song called Birthday Blizzard Bus Ride Blues, and it takes place in 2008, I suppose. Yes, so, and it goes like, I turned 29 on a Greyhound bus, driving through a northern night. My eyes were closed and it was dark outside. For hours, never could see another light. Traveling all around on a passenger bus is the story of my sorry life. I turned 29 on a Greyhound bus. I never knew the hour or the time. And it goes on like that, you know. It's like, it was 3 in the morning when we crossed the line up over top the Great Divide. The snow was falling on the April night, and it was freaking cold outside. I was returning to Alberta because at the time it had been spring back up there for a month. I left the west coast because I hates the rain when the record-setting blizzard come up. And it's the birthday blizzard bus ride blues. Traveling into Alberta on the day of my birthday through a wicked storm. Like,
Yeah, I'm happy to not have blizzards.
I'm so over that. I mean, that's not a behavior we get here in Wells in general. You know, for what it's worth.
I think I might try setting this up facing the ocean.
Oh, dude. That'd be an award-winning weather show if we did that.
What the Cascades don't do it for you.
Well, you can barely see them is all.
Yeah, I think you're gonna barely see the ocean too.
Well, the thing is, we can just sort of see like a flat haze in the distance, but if we could tell the viewers that flat haze is an ocean, they'd be like, wow. And then, you know, we just lie about it. It's like, we're on Mark's airship floating around their Delta.
My dirigible.
Dirigible. Nice one. So, yeah. It's like, that's not a sport.
I have to organize this right so that I don't get the under construction building in the background. This is what the pre-show's for, right?
That's what the pre-show's for. 22 at CWLY. That's nice there. Lytton getting 22 degrees right now. Campbell River hitting 20, reported 40 minutes ago. Revelstoke 16. Even that surprises me. Quesnel overproduces today, hitting 17.
What do you think of this?
You can totally tell that's an ocean, man.
That looks good, yeah.
See,
I was
like,
a little worried about the lighting, but I'm already shaded here, so I think we're okay.
oh, Brandon, I forgot you were there. Hey, buddy.
Oh, good evening.
Hey, Brandon. This is my buddy Tyler.
Hey, Brandon, how's it going?
Good. Tyler. And
What'd
you're
you
a
get?
Maple... Oh, a Canucks fan. You got
Yeah.
a Canucks fan and a Leafs fan.
Well, check out the number on the back of his jersey here.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
show him the back. What does it say?
That says...
Oh, you can't quite see it. Here it goes. Number
Sundin.
13, Matt Sundin.
Sundin. Ah, Sundin.
right? So this is actually my jersey. I was like, "You want a jersey too, Tyler?" And he's like, "Sure." I was like, "I got a Canucks one if you want a Canucks one."
Okay.
But of
I need to
course,
get a
it's
Kraken one.
the
I got
only
a-
Canucks jersey you're allowed to have in my house is the former Maple Leafs captain's name on it.
Well, I got an Ottawa Senators jersey over here.
And
Yeah,
that's all you have over there.
the good thing is it's just off camera that you could almost think it's a Flames jersey.
Almost. I got a Flame
Perfect.
jersey. I got a few of those.
What happened to your Flames?
Minnesota screwed that up. Decided to-
Minnesota.
if Minnesota didn't score, then we would be in the playoffs. But
I think that does sound like how hockey works. Yeah.
yeah, the Ducks.
What I've learned from painstaking years of being a Leafs fan is that you recall there's times like in 2006 when, you know, even if the Islanders had lost in overtime, the Leafs would have gone to the postseason. But what happened was New York won in overtime, and they had the same amount of points as Toronto, but they had more goals, so they ended up getting in. And everyone was like, "That's New York ruined it for us." But no, the truth is, if your team sucks enough that you're on the fringe to the last minute and don't make it, that's on you.
You
Right?
can't argue with that either, right?
You control your destiny when you win your division.
Got a large.
Until you
twin-
lose to the Winterhawks.
Yeah. That's why I'm wearing the
Aaron's
Leafs
not
jersey.
here yet.
And so yeah, that's why my Cougars jersey's over there tonight, and the Leafs jersey's on. The next team to disappoint me is on my shirt, on my body. Who will disappoint me next? Oh, I know what I want to do is I want to close Wondershare. It's my birthday today, Brandon. What'd you get me?
Oh, I got you. I guess say. We'll see what I've got you in the show. You never know.
Well, you don't know. That's what you mean. Ah.
Where is this?
Friday afternoon.
Tornado on the ground. All right.
Where?
At Imogen, Iowa.
At Imogen, Iowa?
Yeah,
Wow.
with an extra E at the back.
What are the chances of that?
Well, there was an enhanced risk there today, so I'd say chances are about 15% within 25 nautical miles.
Great answer. Ashcroft with the 24 yesterday. Ashcroft. Let's find your tornado here. I'll give you a minute to load up radar scope. Find the tornado.
Joey, just a fair warning. I'm going to get a little political tonight. I can't hold it in anymore.
Okay, I don't care.
I'm just warning you.
I'll duck under the desk.
Yeah, we know Brandon's policy. I might have to do that too. I'm not allowed to talk politics because I have a limited job.
Mm. Can you talk American politics though?
Even that's frowned upon, but I mean, nobody in fucking Wells doesn't know what I am. I'm not trying to influence anybody anyway that way. And even if I was talking politics on my channel, I probably wouldn't be saying the words "vote for this guy" or that guy because it's not really part of my
Yeah.
language.
Oh, that's a good one.
Holy fuck, is it ever?
Look at that. Is
Where's
that
that
Shenandoah? I used to live right near here. I lived in Council Bluffs, just north of there.
Right at Imogen. Imogen's
I
getting
don't think
hit?
that's a real town.
No, it's
Holy
a person
crap.
it's a person that was the producer of our television show.
Turn on the correlation coefficient on one of these.
Yeah, okay, I got stuff in the way here. Oh, here comes Hilden coming in too. Okay, yeah, let's see how much it's thrown up in the air. Ah, this thing's still in the way. All the different controls.
Also, put it on tilt 1. Why do you have it on tilt 3?
I think it's because of something we were doing sometime.
Yeah, that's a ball of debris.
So what you're looking at here, folks, I'm sure Mark would give you a much better explanation, but the correlation coefficient one tries to measure the size of different objects. If everything's of the same uniform size, you get more or less a color like this. So your raindrops are all the same size. But what we're seeing here is a whole bunch of stuff that's showing up in radar of different sizes and being thrown quite a long way. So it looks like this stuff is debris. How high are we looking in the air right there, you think, at tilt 1? I mean, I don't know where the radar site is.
Probably it's just outside Omaha, so we're probably looking 3 or 4 thousand feet up, just off the top of my head. Um,
There.
so yeah, the like Joey described it really well. It takes the size and the shape, and if everything is the same size and shape, the correlation coefficient is 1. You can't have perfection even in a good rainstorm, but we start to see it lower when there's like rain and snow mixing, or when there are cows and 2x4s mixed in with the rain. Um, and so how it's displayed on this map here is the reds and the pinks are close to 1, whereas the oranges to blues, you're starting to get closer to 0. And then it looks like this is moving straight to the east. But also, if you zoom back in, how high was that up? 1.4
1,400 meters.
kilometers.
Yeah.
So that's about 4,000 feet. Um, and on the
Yeah, you were
east side
close.
of that, on the east side of the core there, we see the correlation coefficient down for a pretty good distance. So I would interpret that as um, tornado debris being lofted into the atmosphere. This is probably dropping out of the storm well ahead of the storm. But I would also interpret it as dust in the gust front ahead of the storm, as well as possibly hail. So there's
Yeah.
a number of things that can be going on. This doesn't necessarily mean that debris is being lofted up into the higher part of the storm. It's just
Well,
a possibility.
I'm on tilt 4 here, and
Oh yeah, and tilt
that's
4 is going to be. I
that's
mean, I
cows
don't
and
even
2 by
know. Probably
4s.
15,000 feet up or something.
Yeah,
Um,
that's cows and 2 by 4s.
so we are. This is a significant tornado here north of Shenandoah, Iowa. This is going to be southeast of Omaha, south of Council Bluffs, Iowa. Ooh, a particularly dangerous situation tornado warning. Those are pretty rare. I notice this is not a tornado emergency. They typically only issue those when a tornado is going to hit a population center. Of course, if I've driven all over this area, and it's not like um, here in BC where you can go several kilometers without seeing a building. There are small family farms all over the place in
Yeah.
this county,
Well, I mean,
and so
look at the cross hatching, and then that tells you. I mean, like field, 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 field. There's like you don't see a lot
right,
of continuous forest anywhere. It's fields, which
right.
means
That's
farms
exactly
in
right.
between.
Yep, this is one of those counties where there's like a county road every mile, and then there's there's farm homes all along those roads. So this is, even though it's not hitting a population center, I don't think Imogen, if I remember right, I don't think that it might be a small village. Shenandoah has a couple thousand people. It's going to be spared as this storm moves to the north side of there. But there are probably, I would say, on the order of like a couple hundred to maybe 1,000 people in the direct path of this tornado. And then of course the tornado itself is not the only hazard on the north side. There's going to be significant hail. We saw in that tornado warning 2 3/4 inch hail. What is that, like baseball size hail? I can't remember off
Yeah.
the top of my head.
Oh yeah, we got that.
So this is a very dangerous storm. I doubt anyone from Iowa is watching us this evening, but this was forecast. Like I said earlier, an enhanced risk of severe thunderstorms from basically Omaha across over to the Quad Cities on the eastern side of Iowa. So this is
True.
uh this is spring on the plains. Uh, that hook is just like, even without the correlation coefficient and the dual polarization, like we would is an obvious tornado.
Yeah. When
Yeah.
to me, I have a feeling that often when I see it start to get too wrapped around, the tornado starts to rope out. I
Well,
could be
that's
wrong.
that you're exactly right. Actually, that's called occluding,
Well,
and
it's
it's the
cutting it
same.
off cutting off that inflow, right?
Exactly. That's what occlusion does. So in a larger
Oh,
weather
there's a
system,
tornado.
like there's a what?
Tornado emergency now, yeah,
Oh, there you go.
for
All right.
Essex,
So that must be a decent size. That's I
the
think the
wedge.
core of this tornado is going to pass just north of Essex. How I interpret
Yeah,
this radar image.
I feel like
Um,
it's this motion that's got projected though.
Based on I almost think it's going like, you know, uh, using the 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. I think it's going about 2:30. Um, yeah, roll that back. No, it looks like it's going due east, maybe a slight north tilt. But
Oof.
the core of that tornado is just north of Essex right now. Now it could be a couple like a mile and a half wide, and this town of Essex is not going to be that wide. Um, but so it is occluding, which like with big low pressure systems here, um, what an occlusion is when the cold front catches up to the warm front, and then that signifies that the low is going to start dying off. Well, tornadoes are just really intense and small low pressure centers. Um, and so, like, we don't really think of them as cold fronts and warm fronts, but they do operate the same way. So when the air quotes cold front phase of the tornado catches up with the air quotes warm front phase, that cuts off the inflow on the southeast side of the storm, like Joey said, and then that allows the tornado to die. So this could be though a thunderstorm. This looks like a pretty robust supercell, and so it could spin up a tornado again further down the line. Um, in fact, I am of the opinion the tri-state tornado.
That's
Uh,
still pretty gnarly looking
yeah,
rotation.
if you could pull up the speed on that, like the
Yeah,
readout, 50 meters per second on one side, and then go to that bright blue just to the or the bright green. Yeah, so we got 75 meters per second. Multiply that by about four, and what's that, 225 kilometers an hour.
that
uh
looks like that town is more in the way than we like.
yeah,
That's the wedge, yeah.
That's a
that is
wedge
a
tornado.
fat
With it.
wedge.
Ooh,
Threat
Yeah.
catastrophic.
dark.
Oh man.
The
Large
tornado
confirmed
emergency
extremely
is the
dangerous.
bottom tornado.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Large confirmed extremely dangerous tornado 6 miles east of Randolph. Right. You're in a life threatening situation. Flying debris may be deadly to those caught without shelter. To repeat, a large, extremely deadly and dangerous and potentially deadly tornadoes on the ground there going towards Essex. Not in Canada, if you're just tuning in. Not in Canada.
Yeah, we're looking in southwest Iowa.
Nebraska, Iowa, Nebraska area.
So
This is on the Iowa
yeah,
side, though. Yeah. Okay. Where's the
yeah,
border? It's close here.
it's to the west about
Is
30
it the?
kilometers. It's the river.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought.
Will you switch the velocity page to vertically integrated liquid, please? Sorry if I'm stealing your thunder here, Brandon.
If
Oh,
I
all
have
good.
that on
I'm
here, I
looking
don't.
at the
There
tornado.
it is.
I don't get to
Um,
do this very often.
It'll take a minute to load up.
Okay, holy
Brandon, you got
moly.
video?
oh, I have it on X here. I don't have it on my
Give
laptop.
us give us the readout on the gray there. Okay, so is 79, we'll call it 80 kilograms of material per every square meter in our cubic meter, I think. In no, it's square meter. Sorry. So it's 80 kilograms of material every square meter in this frame. Now, this is taking the entire column from bottom to top. It's not one specific slice like this image on the left is. But if you figure a gallon of water, if it's all water, which we know that it isn't, we know there's debris there, but if it's all water, um, a gallon of water is 8 pounds, so 3.5 kilos. And so if you do the math, like we're looking at 25 gallons of water for every cubic meter.
That's pretty nuts.
That's a lot of water. And again, this is or square meter. Sorry, I keep messing that up. And again, this is the entire column. Bottom of the radar beam, all the way up several tens of thousands of feet high. But that is a lot of material. And of course, we know it's not all water, like I said, but 80 kilograms of material for every square meter. And that it's probably higher than that actually, because the radar maxes out at 80. It can't understand higher than that. So there's a lot of rain, there's probably a lot of hail, and there's probably a lot of debris in that storm. And we saw on that satellite map, like there's all this patchwork farms. This area grows a lot of corn and soybeans, but this is the planting season right now. So they're not going to be, it's not like we're going to have ears of corn flying up. But in between those fields and in the open spaces, it's pretty densely forested. So where you don't have homes, you probably have a lot of tree debris. There's not much ranching here, actually. So we make jokes about cows, but it's mostly farming. The ranching is mostly in the winter. And then in the summer, like the springtime, is when they start planting the corn and the soybeans. That's what Iowa's really famous for.
Check out these temps tomorrow. Here comes Frankie. Here comes Frankie.
Roasty, toasty.
We
Yes,
never really
the boss.
We'll have to get back to. Hey, Hilding, I'm sorry I didn't. Doing so many things, and then I don't look at who's actually all here eventually.
Cows in Iowa because there's a lot of dairy farming around some of the centers.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Ranch cows.
Right.
Hilding's like, I'll tell you about cows.
Building knows.
Well, I've worked on dairy farms in Iowa already, so.
I found
Oh,
out.
okay.
I found out Trey Campbell's supposed to be joining me.
Oh, right on, Frankie. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great so far. Trey's supposed to be joining me.
Excellent. Okay, I'm gonna try something tonight. I wanna cut down my editing for the radio cut by setting a timer on one of the phones. I guess this one will do. It's like, so I set the timer and then I hit record, and then we're golden. I don't have to do any editing. It says when it beeps, I'm like, show's over. Right?
That's the show.
That's the show. Yeah. So we're getting really high tech around here. 7 o'clock. Okay, I better start. Set timer for 59 minutes.
59 minutes. Counting down.
Ah! Gotta go.
It's canceled.
No, don't cancel. Set recording for 59. Set timer for 59 minutes.
59 minutes. Counting down.
This time, don't stop it. Freaking thing. Okay, it's the Comediological Report. It's your show about how much the weather sucks in Canada. That's right. I'm your host, Joey, only out here in Wells, BC. It's my birthday today. I got my friend Tyler sitting with me today, Frankie. All the way.
Tyler, I'm Frankie Donald.
Hey Frankie, how's it going tonight?
I'm doing great so far.
That's good to hear.
And I'm just pulling up. Like I'm totally not ready for anything tonight. But here I am. I'm trying my best already to get going with the brand new episode of your show about how much the weather sucks in Canada. Here we go. Finally, here we go.
Well, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather we've got. Wait a minute. Well, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather or not.
All right, it's the Comediological Report. You hear a show about how much the weather sucks in Canada. You're listening to us on CFR 88.7 FM in Prince George, CKUW 95.9 in Winnipeg, plus CFBX 92.5 in Kamloops, or maybe you're watching us on the live stream here on Joey Only Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel every Thursday night. And if you are, I love you the most because you're here with us tonight. And we'll have a look at your questions a little while later in the chat. I got the whole panel of comediologists with me. Comedy plus meteorology equals comediology. I'm using the not as good quality mic tonight because I got a guest in the room with me tonight. This is my buddy Tyler, and he's local caster master fishing we've had a couple adventures. We're going to talk about that tonight too, go over a little bit of that. Of course, we got the regular panel with us, Brandon Hauk, the weatherman there from Brooks, Alberta, the radio guy from the country radio station in Brooks, Alberta. That's Brandon. And he's got tornado talk on the go with us because we want to know desperately what happened with that tornado this weekend in Alberta. Plus, we got meteorologist Mark Engels down there on the south coast. I'm not exactly sure what he has planned because we had such a nervous time watching this tornado hitting into Essex down there in Iowa just now in the pre-show. A very concerning situation for them right now. So then we got off topic. So I never did ask Mark what his presentation is tonight, but I know it's going to be good. And we got Hilding Donaldson as well from Grassy Plains. And oh, how could I forget? Because the next week it's his birthday. Frankie McDonald, where is your
possibility? Trey Campbell.
And possibility Trey Campbell's coming tonight.
Frankie!
Can you yodel for us? Who has the worst weather in the world?
Ladies and gentlemen, Frankie!
Frankie McDonald. How you doing so far, buddy?
I'm doing great so far. The weather's supposed to get warm and cold air fighting each other eastern United States and Canada this Easter weekend. To get some showers in the forecast in Sydney, Nova Scotia on Easter Sunday as well. There could be some flurries as well on Easter Sunday as well. Then we got showers in the forecast this Saturday in Sydney, Nova Scotia, Canada, and light rain. And it's going to bring lots of snow and heavy rain. And somewhere else they're going to bring lots of snow up in Wyoming on Good for this Friday coming up. Then you got lots of snow heading towards northwestern Wisconsin and Lake Superior and parts of northern Ontario as well.
What else you got, Frankie?
And that means lots of snow going on in somewhere in Wyoming and Colorado and Utah mountains right now. Then they got lots of severe weather in Oklahoma this weekend coming. They had a big hailstorm in Pakistan, and they had a big 180 mile per hour wind gust in Beijing, China.
Wow, Pakistan and Beijing. What else, Frankie?
And did you hear about this? They're getting a lot of severe thunderstorms all across parts of Iowa and Missouri, and it's going to turn into winter storm in northern Ontario next week as well. It's really hot in Mexico. It's really dry in Southern California, but a little bit cooler right now in Southern California and Arizona, and a little bit of showers in northern Arizona. And around Utah and Nevada, got showers and flurries and forecast. It's cooler in Nevada right now. It's really hot in Florida, in Alabama, Mississippi, and Georgia. It's really hot in Mexico right now. It's still warm air, cold air fighting each other in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta. In interior BC, then it got cooler weather in interior BC this next week as well. And weather all across Central America. Weather in Central America is lots of showers and forecasting. It's really dry in Mexico, Guatemala, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Nigeria, and Honduras. Lots of rain thunderstorms going on in Panama right now. And in South America, weather down South America is lots of rain and lots of rain thunderstorms in Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, and Bolivia, and parts of Peru. And northern Chile is really, really dry right now. Then they got some heavy rain hitting. It's lots of rain in Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo, Brazil, in the Amazon rainforest. It's somewhat dry in Argentina right now. But a little bit of showers to forecast. It's really dry in Argentina, including all the way down to Falkland Islands. And you got showers and forecast next weekend. Stanley, Falkland Islands, with rain forecast. And Ocean, Argentina, warm air, cold air, fighting each other. Southern Hemisphere fall. And weather all across Europe. And weather all across Europe is lots of cold air in Scotland, Wales. And they got heavy rain in Ireland right now. Then they got cold air hitting for Spain and Portugal this Saturday coming. Then they got some showers and rain in the forecast in France. And it's going to bring next week. It's going to bring showers in Germany, Poland, Italy, and all those places. It's getting warmer in Turkey right now. Showers in the forecast and thunderstorms in forecast like Bosnia, Croatia, and parts of Albania. It's cold outside Norway, but a little bit of flurries and showers in forecast in Norway, Finland, Sweden, except for southern Sweden and southern Finland. Lots of rain in forecast. Moscow, Russia is warm there right now. over in places like in China. China had a big windstorm, 180 mile per hour winds with gusts in Beijing, China. The storm was so powerful. And Pakistan had a big hailstorm by severe weather in capital Pakistan. It was really, really bad there. Over in places like in from North Korea, and it got to rain. The forecast in North Korea, South Korea. It's headed towards Sapporo, Hagedale, Japan. Heavy rain for North Korea is aiming towards Sapporo, Hagedale, Japan. Then you got warm air, cold air fighting each other in Hagedale, Japan. And Siberia is warming up. And Mongolia is also warming up. Then it gets a rain to forecast next week in Wuhan, China. And showers and thunderstorms to forecast in Hong Kong. Showers and thunderstorms to forecast in Philippines and Malaysia and Singapore and Papua New Guinea and Indonesia right now. They got showers and thunderstorms and assuming the monsoon season in Thailand, Bangladesh, and Myanmar, and Vietnam and Laos, and Cambodia. It's really hot and dry in India right now. It's really hot outside in India right now. It's extremely hot there right now. In Sri Lanka right now. In Pakistan, it's really hot there right now. And it has a lot of hail in parts of Pakistan by severe thunderstorms. In Afghanistan, Iran, it's really dry right now. In Tanzania, there's lots of rain thunderstorms going on. In Tanzania right now. In Africa, in Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Oman, Qatar. It's really warm there right now. Lots of rain and thunderstorms going on in Nigeria and Ghana right now. And it's really dry as Sahara Desert right now. And weather all across places like Botswana, Angola, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Congo, DR Congo, Uganda, Tanzania, Madagascar. Then it got a lot of rain forecast in South Africa, Mozambique, Madagascar, La Réunion, the Mauritius Islands. They had a big cyclone in New Zealand.
The strongest storm since last November on Earth, eh?
Yes. They had another cyclone aiming towards New Zealand on Good Friday. Another storm hitting towards northwestern Australia on Friday. Like Port Hedland, Australia. It's really dry in central Australia right now. Perth, Australia is really dry. They got showers in the forecast on Easter Monday. In eastern New South Wales, Australia, lots of rain in the forecast. And Cyclone Tam struck Auckland, New Zealand, and bringing wind to Wellington, New Zealand, Gisborne, New Zealand, New Plymouth, New Zealand, all those places. Greymouth and Nelson, New Zealand, all those places. And it was in the northern tip of the North Island, New Zealand, a lot of rain and wind from Cyclone Tam. It was really bad. And Antarctica, it'll be 24-hour darkness, and up in the Arctic will be 24-hour daylights soon. And did you hear about this? Space Guy show tomorrow night at 11:50 p.m. Atlantic, 7:50 p.m. Pacific. Space Guy show tomorrow night.
Actually, I hadn't heard that. No, he's still doing a show, is he?
Yes.
I know. Any questions from the panel for Frankie McDonald tonight? Great weather report. Meteorologist Mark is really eager to ask you the following question, Frankie.
Frankie, did you cause the tornado in Iowa?
No, I didn't.
No. Do you want to see the tornado in Iowa?
Yes, I saw a tornado in Iowa. They had a huge hail in Pakistan, and they had a big windstorm in Beijing, China, and they had a cyclone Tam in North Island, New Zealand.
Would you say that the hail in Pakistan was an Islamabad situation?
Yes, broke all the car windows.
Oh boy. You got video, Mark, of the tornado, or?
No.
What about the hail in Pakistan?
This is a radio show.
Well, there's 6 people in the audience watching.
What about the hailstorm in Pakistan and Beijing big windstorm?
This hail has really impressed you in Pakistan there, eh, Frankie? Like,
yes, really bad.
You're really onto this one tonight.
Did you see the video of the hail there, Joey?
No.
It looked like a good hailstorm in Calgary. Like, it was really, really big hail. I don't know in Pakistan, right? I don't know what the climatology is, but I do know Islamabad is pretty close to the Himalayas, so it could be that it's similar to cities like Calgary and Denver. I just don't know.
And I mentioned those new places in New Zealand, and then I'm going to share my video.
Okay. Frankie's got a video he's going to share for us tonight.
I will share it tonight.
He's got this figured out now. We've showed Frankie how to do the sharing, and he's all about it. And that's good because every time I try to share, because I was like, well, we should go look at the tornado video right now. And then I realized that my computer will crash.
I share sound. I might. Share sound equal. Let's. I'm focused. Play. This is Frankie McDowell. My own team station live from Sydney, Nova Scotia. Major storm with heavy rains headed towards North Island, New Zealand on Thursday, April 17, 2025. Is going to bring us so much heavy rain in Auckland, New Zealand. Winds are going to be really strong, including Rotorua, New Zealand, and Turnaga, New Zealand, and Plymouth, New Zealand, including Hamilton, New Zealand, Greymouth, New Zealand, and Greymouth, New Zealand, including Hawke's Bay, Napier, New Zealand, including Gisborne, New Zealand. There'll be so much heavy rain, it's going to bring heavy downpours, including Nelson, New Zealand, Wellington, New Zealand, Hamilton, New Zealand, and the surrounding areas. And it's going to bring so much rain, there'll be big waves crash on beaches and shores. I urge everyone to stay away from the beaches and don't go near shores of North Island, New Zealand. It's going to hit Wellington, New Zealand as well. It's also going to hit Warkworth, New Zealand, and the surrounding areas and small towns in New Zealand as well.
Warkworth.
North Island, New Zealand, including Wellington, New Zealand. And winds are going to be really strong. That main knock-off power is going to bring big waves crash on beaches shores. I urge everyone to don't walk to the puddles. Avoid the puddles. We go for a walk. When you drive the car, don't drive a car to the puddles either. Let's go start on Wednesday, April 16th, during the evening hours in New Zealand. It's going to bring so much heavy rain on Thursday, April 17th, 2025 in New Zealand. Be prepared. Make sure every winter rubber boots, raincoats, and rain suits ready. Don't walk to the puddles. Avoid the puddles. We go for a walk. Umbrella will not be powerful enough to stand really strong winds in North Island, New Zealand, with heavy downpours and really strong winds on Thursday, April 17th, 2025. If you have everybody living in North Island, New Zealand, be prepared for heavy rain on Thursday, April 17th, 2025. Take care, stay safe, and don't get caught in the heavy rain. Stay dry and be safe.
Hey, Frankie, in that video, what is the bright, like, blue and red light behind you that's shining off the clouds?
That means we got white clouds, gray clouds, things like this.
Okay.
All right.
And did you hear what I mentioned in towns I never heard before on Meteorological Weather Report in New Zealand?
Yeah, I never heard of that one town for sure, Frankie. Mike's here as well now on the show, and Brandon's here. But before we put on Brandon, Frankie, I got to ask you, where's your Ottawa Senators jersey?
That means Ottawa says Cindy Crosby's playing their last game of the season tonight.
Well, where's your Senators jersey? Aren't you stoked for the
Somewhere.
Battle of Canada? Your Senators hoodie? I thought you'd be like showing up representing to be like, we're gonna beat the Leafs, all proud, Frankie. Are you excited for are you dreading that playing the Leafs?
Excited for the playoffs.
Do you think Ottawa is gonna beat Toronto?
Don't know yet.
I think you do.
Yeah.
Okay. Frankie always knows. He doesn't want to say. Yeah, I don't think anybody on the panel agrees, but I know it's going to be the Leafs this year for sure. Yeah, right. Always for sure. Okay, let's get
The Brandon Houck Report.
Oh, hi. This is the Brandon Houck Report.
Brought to you by
Smoking good barbecue.
That might be making a return to the radio airwaves pretty soon. Just a heads up.
Oh, you got a bolt tonight.
Oh, what's that?
You're bolting tonight, you mean?
No, I'm not bolting tonight. No.
Well, it is going to return to the radio airwaves on Monday there in Winnipeg, seeing as the show is on.
Oh, yes. That's right. And, well, actually, I might have a sponsor coming up here that involves barbecues and smoking. So,
Oh,
stay
get
tuned.
rehearsing.
Nice.
Yes, rehearsing. That's right. That's exactly what we're doing. It's the show title is rehearsing.
Otherwise, some guy like me one day will be like, smoking good barbecue. And they'll be like, you know what? We can pay that guy half as much as Brandon.
Ah, yes. You could. Good.
So tell us about your tornado you had there. You had a nader this weekend, eh, bud?
Yeah, well, I haven't been around for a couple weeks here. We've had playoff hockey, and we won that series against the West Kelowna Warriors. And then I've got another hockey series coming up against the Sherwood Park Crusaders coming up. So that starts this weekend. But before we get to that, well, we got to talk about what happened last weekend because the whole weather scenario in the last week has been an absolute roller coaster ride. That's kind of typical for the spring months here. You get quite warm for a couple of days and it cools right back down again. We had our first couple of days of over 20 degrees last week, and yes, a lot of us probably got a first sunburn of the season, and that's the way it goes sometimes. Now, we had this vigorous little system moving in on Saturday, which was last weekend, and I've noticed something the day before that there's this little bit of cyclonic kind of flow here in this area, and we had a chance of thunderstorms. So I was like, oh, this looks kind of interesting. So definitely keep an eye on that as we go into the next day, because it was a weather wacko kind of roller coaster day on Saturday, because pretty much you could be anywhere in the province and you'd have any kind of weather. It's a smorgasbord of weather pretty much back on Sunday. So temperatures in the Brooks area. So get this, we were about 19 degrees Celsius for a daytime high on Saturday. Okay. Areas around Calgary saw a temperature around 8, dropped to 3 in the afternoon, and they got snow, and they had at least a couple centimeters of snow. Meanwhile, as you get towards the foothills, you had at least 10 to 20 centimeters of snowfall back on last Saturday. So, meanwhile, we have this warm slot meeting up with the colder air mass, and voila, we had first thunderstorms of the season in this area. First thunder and lightning. And that little area where there's a little bit of vortice and just enough vortice, enough little bit of rotation there, and instability, a little bit of steep lapse rates there. I was able to produce the first tornado, which was a landspout tornado, which is the tornadoes that form from the ground up, compared to the supercell tornadoes they're dealing with in Iowa tonight. And that tornado that we were talking about I'd say half an hour ago, it's still on the ground right now. So I've been focused on that for the last half hour. But anyways, so that tornado, which is the landspout tornado, formed just outside of Rolling Hills, Alberta. And once that tornado touched down, my phone just went bizarre. Like bing, 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 it's like, oh, I thought it was the chat group here at first, but nope. It's everybody sending me pictures of this landspout tornado that's on the ground outside of Rolling Hills, Alberta, which is about half an hour from this exact location here.
Yeah, well, it was in a field, so it was a dirty looking tornado, like real picturesque.
Oh yeah, it was in a field, and it did not do any damage, and it didn't hurt anybody. So it got the rating EF0. So it was classified EF0 the day before. But yeah, quite a picturesque tornado. I know a couple of guys that were in their tractor doing seeding, get ready for the season there, and they saw that thing start barreling up towards them there as they're in their tractors there, and they're snapping pictures away. So
putting the tractor into fifth gear.
Get out the tractor in fifth gear. Yeah.
Going 40.
It's a hell of a way to spread some seeds.
Yeah. Hits your wagon there and seeds just all over. Tarnations.
Oh yeah, it's quite an event, and Canada's first tornado of the year, and I'd say it was a really, really a great day, I guess, in the weather world of things in this area. Of course. And then we got rain, and then we got snow late that night, and we just had everything. It was it was perfect weather day, I have to say, back on Saturday. And then we warmed up a little bit to start this week, and then last couple of days we saw the temperature drop off again. There was a small chance of thunder and lightning, but it wasn't really didn't look as good as a chance as it did last Saturday. So there's not much in the way of thunder and lightning or anything wild in the last couple of days. But today we had quite the little snow shower, little bit of snow pellet action here today. Small grapple-ish kind of stuff fell from the sky at about noon, and then it just cleared up, and now see the temperatures drop, rise back up again for a couple of days. And then we go right back down the rabbit hole again as we go through the weekend with more rain. Looks like more steadier rains, especially as we go into Sunday through Easter Sunday into early next week. And then, the unsettled side of things. So the good news is, with this unsettled pattern, as we were looking, so southwestern Alberta has a bit of a severe drought still in place, but areas, as we look back at last year's graphics, most of the province was under severe or exceptional drought at this time of year. So most of the province now is out of drought. So that's kind of the good thing about all this unsettled weather that we've been in for the last few months here. So that is that on that side of things, on the weather front of things. And as I've mentioned, had that big tornado touchdown in Iowa, which was a very large tornado outside of Essex there. They're still on the ground. I think as of what time is it? It is about 8:23 p.m. Mountain Time. And tornadoes just looks like it's just wrapping itself up now. Yeah, so the tornado's just lifted. So that's good news there near the Hipburn area of Iowa. Something like that.
That was
so, yeah.
strong enough that it cycled again, I guess, right? Like we've seen it had kind of a spin-looking appearance, and then it just reinvigorated quite nicely, it appears.
All right. So a couple of different animal stories here with different animals getting into stores here. So a group of people brought 4 horses into a Walmart in Louisiana earlier this week. And don't know what the logic was that about, but
well, that's the apocalypse, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
There you go. That's pretty good right there. And
I think it did say something about a Walmart in that verse too in Revelations. Yeah,
it does in the one that's being sold in Louisiana.
It doesn't. The Trump Bible says that, right? When 4 horsemen come into the Walmart.
Yes. And finally, a turkey broke into a store in Indiana. So they had to try to get this turkey out, this wild turkey, into a convenience store and did some stuff in there, I guess. You never know. Those turkeys are wild stuff indeed.
Look for stuffing.
That's right. They're looking for the stuffing on the top shelf, probably, right? And that's the latest on the Brandon Houck Report.
Oh, excellent report this week, Brandon. Thank you very, very much, buddy.
Just got the fat check for pushing
Joey.
that.
My name Marquis.
Pushing that agenda. It says here, HARP, climate change, whatever.
It was mark time, but let's talk
Brandon Houck, he rolled my cue card. That means you're done.
I changed my mind. I want to talk about me. What was that about me you're saying, Brandon?
That was nothing. No, I was saying, Joey looks awesome in that Leafs jersey. What's that?
That's who you're predicting to win the series, too. I know.
Actually, I predicted since I just did one of those things that you do on the internet. Someone got me to join their ratings, or what do you call this thing? I forget the name of it.
Is it a bracket?
Bracket, yes, bracket. I just joined a bracket the last half hour. I said the Sens would win the series, so. Sorry.
What's AI say? Despite the Ottawa Senators' perfect record against the Leafs in the regular season, the Leafs are the favorite team to win the playoff series. Their superior regular season performance, higher offensive output, and greater playoff experience are likely to be deciding factors. However, the Senators' strong defensive play and head-to-head success make them a dangerous opponent, capable of an upset.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is a perfect example of how AI language learning models are just yes men.
So yeah, we know that It's not looking good, but I got some other predictions that some other analysts say Ottawa's going to win. They're wrong, but they do say that too, and you'll be wrong as well. But Brandon Houck report. On to Mark. Who do you think's going to win in the playoffs? Mark's like the Brooks Bandits.
The Tri-City Americans, yeah. Not the Prince George Cougars. Sorry, Karen.
Ouch. No wonder she didn't come this week.
Yeah, she can't take the heat.
Tyler's from Prince George.
Oh,
And
sorry, Tyler.
I'm sorry too.
You wouldn't say this stuff to his face.
7, 10, 9, 8, 7. It's 6:27 p.m. where David Kelly of the Gary Dino Show is at.
Oh yeah, right on. 6:27 p.m.
David
All
Kelly's
right.
an hour behind you.
They're in Hawaii.
Alaska time zone.
Ah, Alaska. I knew it was something like that. Okay, meteorologist Mark, what do you got this week?
Well, all of our listeners in Winnipeg on the radio there must love us talking about the Brooks Bandits and the Prince George Cougars. You guys get some
Mike's
real
gonna talk.
WHL action.
I think Mike's got a Winnipeg thing there. He's going to show off tonight.
I saw it too. I'm excited to hear it. So I wanted to start off this evening by saying happy birthday to Joey. I've said it several times, but Joey got me on the show here in January and then of last year, and then in June I was living here in Canada. I lived in Portland at the time, and I don't think that's a coincidence, man. I think I'm not going to sit here and say that Joey's the reason I live in Canada, but I don't think he hurt that chance either. When I had my job interview for my job here in White Rock, they had seen the show. And,
yeah, they're like, Joey only? Of course you can move to Canada.
Well, actually, they knew
we'll hire you.
McDonald.
Okay, granted.
But yeah, they were impressed that I was already on a Canadian radio show. So I think that definitely helped. So thank you, Joey, and happy 75th birthday.
I'll never forget our conversation too, because you're like, I'm thinking about taking a job in Surrey, and I said, get out while you can.
Yeah,
that's what I said.
Prophetic.
Yeah, well, I've always known what's coming.
So I want to segue into talking about the Alberta drought. I just saw a statistic earlier today that showed that Banff had its driest winter on record, 15.8 millimeters of precipitation. So I don't know how that compares to average, other than they quoted that as being the driest winter on record. Winter being meteorological winter, December to February is how we factor that. We do have some active weather. Of course, we've got that tornado in Iowa that we just love talking about. That is part of a larger system. This frontal boundary is going to kind of stall from about Texas to New England as the Bermuda High blocks it from moving southward. On Sunday, we're going to get a low pressure system forming in Texas. That's going to kind of adopt that cold front. The low is going to move up towards the Great Lakes, and that's going to finally usher in some good precipitation there on Monday for Ontario, maybe Sunday night too. Here in White Rock, the weather is beautiful. Unfortunately, it is not raining, but I am sitting outside on the balcony tonight. It is a little, I think I may have overplayed my hand here. I am a little chilly, but I'm committed. So for the radio listeners, I got my beanie on. I'm in a jacket.
This is the first show in 5 months where I'm not in a toque and like bundled.
Right. Yeah. So it is nice. I'm excited to go down to Whidbey Island with the family this weekend. Whidbey Island's kind of halfway between here and Seattle, so that'll be a good trip, and then back up here. So I normally like to keep my political views and my weather views separate, but I'm just having a hard time not today. So today was a pretty brutal day in U.S. weather, in the U.S. weather world. And this will affect Canadians in ways that I'll explain in a few minutes. So, because
I totally missed the news today because I was being birthday celebratory, not like any serious way, but having friends over, a couple different friends, and so I'm really curious now what this is about because what's bad enough to make Mark talk?
Let me bring down the mood for you. So the Department of Government Efficiency, which is a Trump administration department, not a real department, but it's headed by Elon Musk, has been cutting things left and right, and NOAA is one of those agencies. The National Weather Service is a part of NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. So today, and there have been things coming too, but today kind of seemed a lot. So they announced that they're in the 2026 budget for the federal government. They're going to try to completely eliminate the research arm of NOAA. So this is things like researching improved weather radar, as well as like marine type stuff. NOAA also deals a lot with offshore fisheries and stuff like that. So the research arm, but that's, all of these things on their own are bad, but all together. So the National Weather Service for a long time has been struggling with staffing. That kind of started in the Obama administration, but really picked up in the first Trump administration when there was a hiring freeze, and so they couldn't backfill positions. The Biden administration lifted that freeze, but they weren't able to fill all those positions between 2021 and earlier this year. So we came into this situation already with a shortage of employees. In fact, I know meteorologists at Weather Service offices before Trump came into office that certain Weather Service offices were already pulling meteorologists from other offices here and there to try and fill the gap. So the National Weather Service in Sacramento, I think it was this morning, but it may have been yesterday, said that they are so short on staff that they are significantly decreasing services. This is the first time I've heard of something like this from a National Weather Service office. They are going to have barely anyone on night shift. So Weather Service offices operate 24/7. They're going to have barely anyone on night shift. They are only posting one forecast discussion a day instead of two. These are kind of like blog posts written by the Weather Service meteorologists. Blog post kind of waters it down a lot, but that's the best way to describe it. It's shorthand. They're only going to be issuing weather alerts during the day unless there's a really extreme weather event going on, and they aren't even answering the phones. So the National Weather Service office in Sacramento, California, does not have enough people to answer the telephone, which is just so wild to me. I could right now on the air, if I wanted to, call up the Weather Service office in Seattle, ask them a question about the weather here in White Rock, and a human forecaster would tell me about it. And that would be the case 24/7 unless like a big tornado outbreak was happening and they're really busy or something. And the Weather Service in Sacramento is not answering the phones because of staffing shortages. And I think Sacramento is not going to be the last one. We are also seeing a significant decrease in the number of weather balloons launched by the Weather Service. This is what impacts weather forecasting in Canada, especially. So there have been a lot of decreases in Alaska, and all of this is because of staffing shortages. So there's been a lot of weather balloon sites that have lost staff in Alaska, and there's been a lot on the Great Plains. In the Rocky Mountains, there are no weather balloons now being launched between Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Billings, Montana. And so we'll use this weekend's storm as an example, with the low that's going to spin up in Texas and then move off towards Ontario. Well, those weather balloons provide critical data for the weather models, because weather models, what they do is they take in real-time observations, and then we have the physics-based calculations, and then there's some of them also have like machine learning built in and stuff like this. But they take in those observations and they say, well, if this is the temperature here, if it's raining here, if this is the temperature 18,000 feet up here, this is what's going to happen. And no weather model is perfect, but the more good data we get into them, the better they are. And so we're losing that data. In Alaska is a very critical region for this data for British Columbia, because of course it's immediately upstream in the weather flow pattern, and we have barely any data offshore the off in the Pacific, and that's, it's pretty hard to get weather data in the Pacific. So we're losing that. This isn't to say that all of the weather balloon sites in Alaska are gone, but we are losing some of that detail. And then for the Rockies, of course, Alaska is important for all of North America, but the Rockies, that also adds emphasis or adds problems to the weather modeling for like Ontario this Sunday into Monday as this low moves up from Texas. That low, the weather models are going to be missing data on that low as that weather system moves through the southern Rockies, and that will degrade the quality of weather forecasts Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday for Ontario and Quebec. So these are changes happening in the U.S., but they are going to impact the quality of weather forecasts in Canada. So the National Weather Service today, previously, they've issued these statements and they've been like, here are some specific sites that are either most places do 2 weather balloons a day. Some of them have decreased to 1, and some of them don't have any now. And so the previous ones have been, these are the specific sites that are having problems. Something in Alaska, Bangor, Maine, or wherever, like Grand Junction, Colorado, these places are having problems. Well, today's statement was basically, we're going to, I think the terminology they used was temporarily discontinuing radiosonde. Weather balloons are called radiosondes. Radiosonde launches at select stations. It was just a blanket post for them to not have to keep saying, oh, well, this one's coming offline, this one's coming offline. They issued a blanket post for every single one that the National Weather Service does. That doesn't mean that every single one is going to be on the chopping block, but this does mean that the National Weather Service is expecting to lose more weather balloon launch sites because of staffing issues that are being caused by the current administration. So I don't know, I don't know what the answer is, how Canadians, individual Canadians can change this, but it's something that I think people need to be aware of. As an American, I voted in the last election, and but that there's not much else I can do other than get the word out there that this stuff is happening and it is going to degrade your weather forecast quality. And so, on a day-to-day basis, you're probably not going to notice the impact all that much. It's when we have the big storms coming through, losing a lot of weather balloon data in Alaska is going to critically impact snow forecasts in the lower mainland, where it's already hard to forecast snow. So losing those weather balloon sites in the Rockies and the High Plains is going to degrade weather forecasts for severe weather in Manitoba through Quebec. This is a big deal and it's a big problem, and I don't know what to do about it. I voted and I didn't vote for this, but that's how it goes.
When the election's over, I'll spit out lots of ideas for what I think people should do about it. I'm trying to be very impartial right now, of course, because I made some commitments over the election. But I think there is things you can do, and I think there's things that need to be done, and some of them are big things.
Yes.
And the reality is that when it comes to this sort of thing, it's like well, as a weather culture, to me, culture. Hey, Frankie's fans. Nice to meet you. So it's like you can only pretend you can't be political so long, Right on, Frankie. We can't really hear what they're saying at all. Okay. I mean, it's good. It's nice, but the radio show, radio listeners they can't hear that. But yeah, so there's only so long you can pretend that these are just political things. That's just your politics. That's just what side you're on. And it's like, no, man, like we're weather nerds. We're on the side of science and data. And when you make that
Well, and I
You
also want to
attack
point
that. We have
out.
every right to talk about it.
I also want to point out this is happening in meteorology, but meteorology it's not happening in a vacuum. Meteorology is not the only critical industry that's being impacted by this. Um, we've heard a lot recently about the National Institutes of Health that funds a lot of medical research in the United States. We've been hearing a lot about universities, but this level of stuff that we have a really good understanding of in meteorology, the stuff that is breaking right now, it is breaking that bad across the entire anything the government touches in the United States. And that's because the US is such a major player in global everything, it's going to impact everyone. That's just the reality of where we're at right now. It is not a good situation. I do want to pivot a little bit here to a little bit more positive. I will be down.
Enough of talking about the collapse of the American Empire. Next.
Right. Yeah. I will be down in Vancouver, Washington, near Portland on May 6th. I am giving a talk titled Bomb Cyclones to Renewable Energy Weather Forecasting in the Pacific Northwest. So if you happen to be in the Portland metro area on May 6th, check that out. The event is called Science on Tap, so you can Google it. I'll have some posts about it over on Ingles Weather before too long. So go check that out. I'm really excited for this. Is the first I've spoken to like the Oregon American Meteorological Society, but I've spoken to like some fire departments and stuff. But this is the first like public facing event that I've ever done, and I'm really excited for this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And then don't forget to Joey mentioned all the radio stations and the YouTube. Well, also don't forget Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Castbox. And that is the end of my report for the evening.
Thank you very much.
Joey, I'm going to sing happy birthday to you.
Okay, I'm ready.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joey. Happy birthday to you.
Ah, that's so good, buddy. That's so good. I love you so much, Frankie. I've also got this one from you here. Where is it? I got a video of Mike that I was going to pull up here in a second too, but here's one from Frankie as well. He sent me yesterday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joe Youngley. Happy birthday to you.
That's so good. I was like so depressed yesterday, and then Frankie sent me that, and I was like, ah, my life's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Speaking of, thanks, Frankie. And then next week is your birthday too, Frankie. Same day.
So I'm assuming you're going to do the same kind of video for him?
I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to now. Of course. So what we're looking at here is downtown Winnipeg. Mike McGregor, are you still there, bud?
Yeah, I'm here. I've just been quiet.
Hey, buddy.
This was me earlier this week. I was downtown for a bit. Typical dusty spring Manitoba day. It's good though. I'm liking it. There's no more snow.
Is everyone else stoked for the Jets in the playoffs? I mean, that's a team that could do some real damage this year.
Literally, we won the President's Cup, I think, for winning the most number of games. I think that's the first time it's ever happened within any Western division. And I got my Jets. It's upside down. I got the Jets Winnipeg scarf here. You see it?
Nice work. Nice work.
Yeah, I do think they have a good chance of winning the playoffs this year. They're number one in the Western division. I think they'll nail St. Louis Blues, Dallas Stars, and then they'll probably kick butt to the Las Vegas or Vegas Knights, I think. They're already at the top division. I think Winnipeg fans are actually starting to get a little bit upset at the number of years we've gone for the Stanley Cup. We haven't won, so I think this is our chance this year. Sorry to Brandon, who's got the Brooks Bandits, and to you guys. But it'll be interesting to see what level we can get. And by the way, happy birthday, Joey.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, I gotta send you a birthday card or something.
You just gotta sing really, really silly like.
Happy birthday to you.
Hey, good job. Okay. So I liked it. Okay, so tell us about Winnipeg this week, buddy. And then we still got to talk to Tyler here about fishing for a minute too. So we've been tight today.
Yeah, I'm actually ready. I got a script written. So it's been an interesting weekend. Manitoba, actually, we had a early morning snowfall earlier this week. It pretty melted pretty quick and been kind of transitioning into a dusty, windy prairie type weather. I don't know if you got the other video, but I was blown away by the wind. I got hit by a whole bunch of dust in the face, and I actually got some of it in my mouth. City crews have been out cleaning. They've been kind of a little lazy lately, but they did finally get out to clean the roads. Temperatures have been all over the place. We got up to 16 degrees yesterday. We got back on track uh, this week, but last Saturday we got like 16 degrees again and single digits all the week. So we had like a flip flop time. We got like the teens and then the single digits, and we're back up to the teens. And then there was another thing that happened. We're supposed to get snow again tonight, and not tonight, tomorrow night, and on the day on Saturday. And one of the weather models was hitting at like 20 centimeters. Justin did a little hype train thing yesterday. He said, "Boy, Winnipeg's gonna get slammed with 20 centimeters." So if the listeners are hearing our show on the day on Tuesday and B didn't get any snow, you can blame us if we said 20 centimeters is happening. Um,
Well,
we're
just to explain it to them that you're just trying to get clicks.
Yeah, we're trying to get clicks. That's basically it.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Kind of like what I've been following another guy. He's been posting every weather model run at like 300 hours of the GFS, and then he got barred off Facebook the other day because apparently people complained it was fake news. So again,
well, basically, when you're 300 hours out, it is fake news.
So we're still waiting to hear for thunderstorm potential because I saw today in Minnesota they had thunderstorms northern Minnesota. I'm like, when we're gonna get? I feel like Brandon's stealing all our thunder. So
We've had way more here than he's had there. He had the nadir though, so we can't compete with that.
Yeah, well, if you guys have thunderstorms, please send them our way because we're still waiting for its first thunderstorm chance to happen.
They're all mine.
Yeah, and shifted to warmer spring weather later next week, hopefully, after this cold snap. And then found something funny. Apparently, a Australian woman unknowingly gave birth to a stranger's baby after IVF clinical error. And there's another one here. Apparently, police detained 6 climbers who wanted to scale Cologne's famous cathedral, as from the Associated Press. And a Michigan town moved 9,100 books one by one to their new home. So these are typical stories.
Which was a big pit of fire.
Basically.
Well, that depends. Was this on the Upper Peninsula? Because if so, that could be.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, probably. Their new home. Burn those books. Way to go, America. Okay, Mark, what were you thinking about? What you got a comment on Winnipeg snow? I heard.
Well, I don't want to crush the hype train or the like, share, and subscribe, which everyone following and listening to this should do. But I don't think Winnipeg's getting any snow. The Euro doesn't show anything.
That was yesterday's news.
Oh, okay. So if you're listening to us on Tuesday, we can take the over under. You can pick Mike's 20 centimeters, or you can pick my 0.
Let's do a lottery, or like a little lottery thing. Whoever gets snow wins $1,000.
Yeah, if I had $1,000 to put in.
According to, I just checked the app. on my smartphone. The Weather Network said for Winnipeg, there's no snow in the forecast for Winnipeg.
Why is the Environment Canada saying snow tomorrow night? Doesn't make any sense.
Next, it'll be a whole.
Well, there may be flakes in the air. You know, we call this conversational snow. There might be a little bit of snow, but it's not like it's going to
Environment
stick.
Canada doesn't even show snowfall warning for Winnipeg at all.
Conversational. Now everybody who subscribes to Weather Center Manitoba is going to join my channel.
That's what we're trying to do here. So.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, well, it could happen.
You guys are a fun bunch. I mean, literally, we can get. We're Winnipeg after all, so never know what to expect around here.
That's true, eh? Any town called Winnipeg, it's like you might think it's not going to snow. It might. You never know, right?
I saw snow once in Omaha in May, and that's quite a ways south of Winnipeg. So
back in May 2013, Iowa had snowstorm in May 2013. I did a video for Iowa back then.
That's the snowstorm I was in, actually. That's the snowstorm I was in. It was May of 2013. I lived in Council Bluffs, Iowa. Thank you, Frankie.
I'm going to show one of my old videos
from
2013.
Okay.
Like the Iowa snowstorm in 2013.
You line it up.
May of 2004, Winnipeg got hit with like 20 centimeters of snow. So, I mean, nothing's out of the possibility, but I just hope that we get a severe weather outbreak or something sometime soon. No death and destruction, just but some nice lightning.
Well, they're moving north.
We've still been meaning to get to fishing talk tonight. Of course, there's the post show. Those of you who are on the radio, you might not be able to listen to the post show on the radio, but you can always come to Caribou Weather Dude YouTube and find on the live streams. We may still be talking about fishing even after the show. There's a show within the show. You know, this is.
I just got the second video ready.
Okay,
Frank, like, share, and subscribe.
Frankie's got the second video ready.
And we're getting ready to show my old video for Iowa. 2013.
Frankie remembers like the day right away. You're like, it snowed in Iowa once.
My own TV station live in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Iowa's going to get a lot of rain on Wednesday, May 1st, 2013. It's going to last all for the rest of the week in Iowa. It's going to be up to 100 plus millimeters of rain total for Iowa.
What about the snow?
People in Iowa, be prepared. The cold front's going to be slow moving, and the low pressure system is also going to be very slow moving as well. And Iowa is going to get a lot of rain because a lot of moisture is coming from Gulf of Mexico and the cold air coming from Canada. That means it's going to bring a lot of rain for Iowa. On Wednesday, May 1st, 2013. And the rain's not going to stop till the weekend in Iowa. People in Iowa, be prepared. Have your rubber boots ready, have your raincoats ready, have your rain suits ready. And the winds are going to be very high in Iowa on Wednesday, May 1st, 2013. Here's my advice. Wear your rubber boots and wear your raincoats and inflators and rain suits. The sewers will back up in the streets because it's going to be a lot of rain and the streets are going to be flooded in Iowa. People in Iowa, be prepared. Don't drive your car to the flood or your car gets stalled in flood waters. If the flood's very deep, don't drive into the flood.
What about the snow, though, Frankie?
Very careful driving your car. Have your inflators ready.
Yeah, this was right.
In Iowa on Wednesday, May 1st, 2013. Unplug all electronics since it's going to be thunderstorms on Wednesday, May 1st, 2013 in Iowa. Unplug your TVs, computers, and gaming consoles and stereos.
And your grandmother.
Don't get a power surge. When the thunder and lightning happens, stay away from the trees. Don't go near the golf courses and open fields. Stay inside the house. Because of thunder and lightning, because you don't want to get struck by lightning in Iowa.
But you do in Nebraska.
Winds this was
good.
Especially thunderstorms. Power lines will be down possible. Transformers will be down as well. People in Iowa, be very careful in the big rainstorm for the rest of the week. Don't open up your umbrella, and the umbrella could be broken during high winds in Iowa.
And get hit by lightning.
Yes.
When the power goes out, have your iPads charged, have your iPods charged, have your cell phones charged, have your tablets charged.
Yes, this was back when iPods were still a thing.
I was going to say, dated.
Have your 3G internet ready.
3G.
Have your flashlights
4G,
ready, have your
LTE,
extra
5G.
batteries ready, have your candles ready. And the basement's gonna get flooded. Remove all wires from the basement. Remove everything from the basement floor, especially papers. And the power cords.
Yeah, this is back when people used
all
paper.
the power cords from the basement floor. Since the basement floor is gonna get flooded. When the rain gets real heavy,
I love this one.
you need your rain suit on in Iowa. Wear your rain suit. Because the rain's going to be very heavy. It's going to be major flood in Iowa. On Wednesday, May 1st, 2013. Best of luck to you, people in Iowa. Be prepared for the major rainstorm on Wednesday, May 1st, 2013. Good luck and stay safe.
So
Don't
Frankie.
Flood. Don't watch the flood.
We got 55 seconds left. 55 seconds left.
During
If
this
you want to follow me on
rainstorm,
social media, my blue sky is at Frankie MacD. My Twitter is now X is at Frankie MacD. My link tree is Frankie MacDonald. My Facebook is Frankie MacDonald. My Threads is at Frankie MacD 1984. My TikTok is my Instagram is Frankie MacD 1984. My TikTok is Frank Don 1984. My Clapper is Frank Don 1984. My Twitch is Frankie Don 1984. My Snapchat is Frankie MECD1. My YouTube channel Stocks Wolves and my LinkedIn is Frankie MacDonald. Best luck to you. I'm Frankie Don. You listen to Comedological Weather Report every Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Atlantic.
That's the Comedological Report, everybody. 15 seconds to go. I'm Joey Only. I'm your host up here in Wells, British Columbia. Thank you. Hey, we didn't even get to Hilding yet. We got Tyler. Haven't got to him yet. Brandon Houck, Mike McGregor, Frankie McDonald, Mark Ingalls. You have to listen to the rest of us on the after show here on Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel. Thanks, everybody. Bam.
And that's
okay.
I did your hair put
Frankie,
this. With that, I was only 29 years old on my first Iowa forecast.
Frankie, when that rainstorm was happening, do you know what I was doing?
Being prepared back then.
No, I was up on a ladder cleaning out somebody's gutters because they didn't do it over the winter. So I'm up
I
here.
did your hair put this.
Dumping
that
rain.
That was my first Iowa forecast
up.
ever on my YouTube channel. I got 25,000 views. That's
awesome.
2013. I was only 29 years old back then.
I think it snowed on like Saturday or Sunday that week, and it just dumped rain. And then finally that cold front moved, and then it got cold. And so like people whose basements flooded, then it snowed. It was awful. And I'm up here shivering. You know, I'm not a big guy. I don't have a lot of insulation. So I'm up here.
You have a lot of meat, eh?
Scraping all this mud and crap out of the gutters.
That was my Iowa forecast from 2013. My first Iowa forecast ever. Back in 2013, I only had a LG KM555 touchscreen phone then. It's not a smartphone. It's just a touchscreen phone then.
Yeah, it was olden days, eh? I know, because you even said other things that remind us of the olden days in there, like when you're
I only had an iPod Touch to take videos of myself back then too.
And when you're like, make sure you have candles. I'm like, oh yeah, people used to use candles back then, whereas now everyone's just got these lights that never run out of batteries.
And back then, the people had iPads and iPod Touches. Samsung Galaxies wasn't even popular yet, but iPads and iPhones are really, really popular back then.
Frankie, did you ever have a BlackBerry?
I recorded a video of myself using a digital camera back then. In May 2013.
Those were the days.
And I had an iPod Touch.
And I also agree with what Mark pointed out in your video too, Frankie, that you do want to get hit by lightning in Nebraska. Absolutely. Like, have you been to Nebraska? You'd be like, you're just begging the Lord for mercy. Like, please make the boredom end.
Actually, maybe I shouldn't say this on live TV.
Well, we're on
but,
YouTube now. We're not on radio.
I
Right,
remember
maybe
that.
I shouldn't say this, but Iowa is way
my
worse.
most viewed Iowa weather forecast. Remember my most viewed Iowa weather forecast ever. My YouTube channel is massive blizzard to hit Iowa on Tuesday, February 2nd, 2016. I got 413,000 views back then.
Well, like in the Dutch farmer churches, you know, there's like 2 big schools they send you to if you're going to continue on in post-secondary education. And they're, you know, I don't know about the case with the Iowa one, but Redeemer College in Hamilton it's a legitimate university. Like, you learn science there. It's a religious school, but you know, we didn't learn that the world was 6,000 years old or nothing, or was made in 6 days. It's like, well, this is what the science says, and Dutch people are very practical. You know, it's like, well, you know, science says the Earth's 5.5 billion years old, but what a Dutch farmer says, well, you know, you don't understand God. Who cares? Right? So anyways, the other school is in Iowa, in Sioux City, Iowa, I believe it is.
Oh, yeah, we called that Sewer City.
Yeah, and people be like, hey, don't you, you know, in your high school, like, do you think maybe you'd go to that school? Like, no, man. Yeah. No, I'm not going to Iowa. That's my story on that.
I was a LDS missionary in Iowa and Nebraska, 2013 to 2015, and Council Bluffs, as a 18 and 19-year-old, my only job was to spread the gospel and help people. Like, that was it. But like, am I about to raise my family there? Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's like, yeah, you know, wow, there's so much corn here. You know what you need is like hope. It's like, maybe you can float away. You can float away to heaven where there's no corn.
When you drive into Iowa, their sign says "Fields of Opportunity," and I just one time I drove in on.
Well, build a baseball diamond and look what happens.
I was just starting to think of Field of Dreams.
Yeah, Shoeless fucking Joe comes out.
I was driving in one time, and some of the other missionaries didn't believe my Council Bluffs stories, and I'm like, fine, we're gonna go, and I'm gonna show you. And we were not even a kilometer. We weren't even off the freeway yet, not to the first stoplight, and some shirtless dude, huge beer gut, running across the highway with a shopping cart. Like, it's like, this is the real Council Bluffs. One time, I saw that this guy was dumpster diving in our dumpster regularly. And so I put a copy of the Book of Mormon at the top of the dumpster to see if he would take it, and he did.
This is the best thing you found in the dumpster all week. Yeah. You know what
that was a good time.
It's funny, like, because I used to joke, you know what perfect pitch is? It's when you throw an accordion in a dumpster and it hits a banjo. And then I forgot. Because I was with my buddy Ken, and he used to play drums in my band for years. He played like over 300 shows in my band. And he's like, you know that banjo you found in the dumpster? I was like, oh yeah, I found a banjo in a dumpster once in Vancouver. He's like, I still have it. I fixed it up. It's beautiful.
That's awesome.
Before you go to bed, Mark, here's a bonus round.
I pinged you in the thing.
Okay.
So we still have Tyler here who we haven't talked about fishing yet. So if you got a question about fishing, Mark, think about what's your biggest question about fishing, and we may not have the answers here.
All right, I do have. Okay.
Freshwater fishing person, so.
Yeah, like maybe don't do the ocean so much. We're from the Caribou, eh?
Well, okay, so here's the situation. My grandpa, when I was growing up, would go down to the Columbia Gorge and go salmon fishing, and he was really good at it. And then he'd take me up in the Blue Mountains in Washington to this crappy little pond that they fill with trout, and I could not cast the reel to save my life. And like, I was in high school. What is the magic way? Like, this must be the most disappointing aspect of me to my grandfather, is that like I literally cannot fish to save my life.
Okay.
How do you cast?
Okay, well, before we ask Tyler to explain casting, now, was this a closed face or an open-faced reel? Like, did you have to click it?
Like open up the bail.
I think
and
I did have to click it. Yeah, I think I did.
Or did you click a button and it was like a
No,
closed thing?
it was not. It was not a button. It had the ring thing that you flip.
So you're using an adult fishing rod. Okay, Tyler, adult fishing rod.
Well, a lot of the problems I find with people is when they go to cast. Oh, where's the camera here? And they go to cast. When you go to cast out, depending on where you let go of your finger is going to be your trajectory of if it's going up or straight out. And if you don't get that release point proper, especially with fly fishing, you're not going to really get anywhere. It's going to go off balance, and you just got to figure out the way to stand so you can cast out straight.
So this is definitely my grandpa's fault then, because he didn't tell me I had to have my finger on it to begin with.
Well, you know what else I find really helpful? So you open up, I mean, I might have a fishing rod right near here, but maybe not. I could go get one real quickly. But you open up your reel, and then you've got your fingers, so you're holding the line, right? But then what I think is really key to having a good cast, personally, is if you can imagine the centrifugal force that's developed from the weight of your lure.
Yeah.
And so if you have a bit of line out, that's going to help increase the force at which you could throw it, right? So if you are casting and your fishing rod and you have your lure at the end here, you won't get quite the same motion of force in throwing as if you let the lure out just a little bit and let it dangle. It doesn't have to be very long. If it's too long, you might actually lose some of the ability. So it's like let it dangle out a little bit.
You are hitting the key problems that I can distinctly remember not doing that.
And then there's the release point, right? So as that centrifugal motion hits like the 0G on its way over, that second it reaches that's when you let go and then let gravity.
And also you got to pick the right tackle size and weight for your line weight as well. If you got too heavy of a line and the tackle's not heavy enough, you're not going to cast more than about 10 feet in front of you, and you got to match your weight of your lures up to your line as well.
I went up there to it's along the Tucannon River near Walla Walla, and I went up there like half a dozen times, and my grandpa never told me any of this. So I'm just like, I had the like line all the way so that my hook was like at the end, because that just seemed right, and I didn't know to have my finger on the thing, and like man,
that's a failure kind of.
Yeah, and so I'm sitting here, and my grandpa's doing great, and he's just out there. Like, I think my grandpa just like sitting out there, which I would have liked that too if I knew what I was doing. But
no, you just got to open the whiskey and.
Well, and it would go like maybe 20 feet. It would go like 20 feet, and I'd just be like, "What in the world?"
Yeah, I remember I was in Bowen there when I worked for Parks, and of course we come by in the jet boat, and some people are like in their canoes and they're waving us down, and like, hey, what's going on? What you got some questions? Like, hey, ranger guy types, and then say, hey, I see you're fishing, and he's like, yeah, but there's no fish here, he says. And I'm like, the Bower and Shane, like, they fucking leap into your boat, man. Like, what are you talking about? But I don't I try to act unsurprised, like, oh, really? Well, what are you doing? So then I see he's got a spin caster rod, but he's got a fly on the end, and he's got heavy test line, and he's like literally throwing his little fly about 6 feet out, and of course they're talking and blah blah blah, and he's like, "There's no fish here," and it's like, and then so some of those guys, like, I'd give them just like the most basic tip. It's like, you need to put a heavy weighted lure on there so you can get it out there a little bit, and maybe go over to where that drop off. I give them like 1 or 2 tips. Because I like figure you might as well let them just stay ignorant.
Right.
It's a park. And then as I come out with like a cooler of fish at the end of my shift every week, it's like the less fish they catch, the more I can catch, I figured. So I didn't want to give them.
And if they think the fish aren't there, they're not going to come back.
It's like if they caught their limit and I caught my limit too. Well, what if I just catch both of our limits?
Yeah.
And they catch nothing?
I did catch a bluegill once in Nebraska.
You caught an eel?
A bluegill.
Oh,
that's all I've ever caught was a bluegill. I can see Brandon Houck laughing at me. So I should say, tomorrow being a holiday, neither me nor Brandon have to be up early.
Right, that's what's going on. Yeah, you don't even have radio on the holidays in Brooks, Alberta. You just turn on the radio and it's like.
No, we've got a plan tomorrow. We'll let the music play, just
Cackle. You got a fishing question, Brandon?
Fishing question. Well, more like a bragging thing here because I haven't.
Oh, now he's gonna make me feel bad.
So this is me back in I'd say 2000 and I think it's 2008 or so, and this is when I caught the biggest fish of the whole county of Newell, which was 19 pounds and 4 ounces, which was the size of that pike. So,
oh yeah,
nice.
Nailed the jack, did you?
Oh yeah. And I've
in Lake Newell or
what's that?
In Newell?
Yeah. No, actually Bantry Bay. Nobody knows where that is anyways, so that's where I caught it. In a secret spot. Very secret.
Well, you got 20-pound jacks there. I'm coming for it. Okay. Well, I got something to show you too.
Okay.
You guys keep talking for a minute.
I got my trophy up here actually.
So Tyler, are you going to tell us all of your secret fishing spots in the interior?
In the interior? Well, there's quite a few good lakes. Some of them I wouldn't tell people in a situation like this. In private, absolutely, but sometimes you got to protect the lakes that you're going to.
That is what I was getting. That's like where I grew up. We would just drive out of town to go shooting, but you never tell people where your shooting spot is because you don't want them to destroy it.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, it's too hard to get at, man.
Tyler, have you ever been over to the Lakes District over here?
Pardon me?
Have you ever been to the Lakes District?
Yeah.
Lake area?
Yeah, no, I'm First Nations from Hazelton, and I go that way quite often to go fishing. I fished Burns Lake there. My buddy used to stay at the KOA campground growing up, and that was a lot of fun there.
So have you been on the south side then to the area around here? Plains?
More so around the KOA campground from, I don't even know if it's called that, but now.
Yeah, I know where that is. Yeah, that's right on Burns Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost there. This was way harder to get than I thought it would be.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I love those jokes.
Damn.
That's awesome.
When you're weird like me, you just have shit everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. 19 pounds, 4 ounces.
Nice. That's a nice sized pike.
Yeah, that was a trophy from 2007, actually. Yeah, I was a year off.
All right, if we're showing... Oh, yeah, go ahead, Mike.
So if you're starting fishing for the first time and you don't have, do you have to get a license for fishing? And what kind of basic equipment would you get if you were to start a fishing hobby? Because I haven't done fishing in over 3 years, and it was with friends, so...
Around here, Mike, you need a lure to catch the size of fish we got.
I have that lure.
What? You don't have this, too.
Yeah, I do.
This was like my wedding present from my ex-wife's dad. How do you have one?
My dad has that one. Yeah, he does.
It's even got the big hooks on it there.
But it's under 5 of diamonds. It's about that big, yeah.
That is absolutely huge, Joey.
Yeah, we use it for catching sturgeon.
Hey, speaking of sturgeon, here's my grandpa with a sturgeon.
That's a nice one.
He caught this in the Columbia River near Kennewick, Washington.
And it was the last sturgeon.
No, there's tons of sturgeon in the Columbia.
I'm just kidding.
That we had a whale out here. I could literally from my balcony we had a whale. So you want
to borrow my lure?
Yeah, that would be. Now that I know how to cast,
Yeah.
I'll just cast from my balcony to Boundary Bay here.
You could probably, yeah, with this thing, it's so heavy. Once you get it going in the wind.
Just make sure you got good test on you, Rod.
Yeah. Or otherwise, it might land in the substation and knock out power to 500,000 people.
Oh, that.
All right, the fish pictures are going to get progressively larger.
Here's the beast right here. Yeah.
That is a good sized pike.
19 pounds. Almost the size of me, actually.
That's a beauty, buddy. That's a beauty. Anyone got questions in the chat there? Where's the open water? What river? You in the pic, Joey, just showed us. What's your go-to fly lure bait? What's your go-to fly lure bait?
My go-to flies, my buddy makes this really nice rabbit fur one with this red feather in it, and we use it at Dragon Lake, and it's absolutely one of the best flies I think I've ever used.
Dragon Lake is crazy here.
Like it's wild. When it's good, it's good.
Like I pulled like a 9-pound trout out. 2 casts later, pulled an 8-pounder out.
There's like 20-pound rainbows caught out of there back in the day, like that Gerard species.
Yeah. Here's a big pike I caught once there, Brandon.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's Mike Graham. He died in a driving car accident there when I was 19. But he was one of the only local boys around there growing up. And she was a pretty good sized one. But yours is bigger actually by a couple pounds.
Yeah, mine would have been about the size of you in that photo. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That's crazy. Yeah, some of those lakes, those pike get just monstrous. Like up in the Yukon, there's some huge pikes that I see my buddies catch online, and I'd never want to move back up there, but I sure want to go back up there and do some pike fishing.
Hey, Joey, on those pictures you showed us, how did you get them in color?
It was called Technicolor back in the day. That's how like Wizard of Oz has color, you know?
Oh, interesting. Okay. So they had to colorize it.
Oh, it's almost thawed now too, buddy.
Oh, nice.
Show this off, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm going to bed. Good night, guys.
Have a good night, buddy. It was nice meeting you. Mark, good
Yeah,
night.
you too, Tyler.
Mark's gonna wait a second.
I will wait. This show. What do you think it is? Your birthday?
Yeah. Next day for a salmon.
Yep.
Nice. Oh man, fillet that up and smoke it.
We don't have time for that tonight. We're just gonna eat it fucking raw.
Raw.
Yeah, down here they call that sashimi. Okay.
Like cooking it.
Put it on a cedar plank.
Let's get some soy sauce. We're good to go.
For a Boy Scout thing, we went to this catfish farm in Texas, and we forgot to bring breading. And so we caught all this catfish and filleted it up, and then we crushed some nacho cheese Doritos and used that as breading.
That's amazing.
No, it was horrible. It was the worst. One of the only thing worse than that I've ever eaten was possum.
Possum. Americans are so hilarious.
Roadkill possum in San Saba County, Texas. And that was because the person in charge of food forgot to bring food.
No shit.
Great fishing bait. Hawkins Cheesies.
Is there anything Cheesies can't do?
Not really. No, they go nuts for it. It's the water and the oil is just like...
All right. Good night, for real.
Good breading too.
And it makes good breading too. Good night, Mark.
Have a good one. Nice meeting you.
Yeah, you too.
Good to see you this week. Almost salmon time for us. Almost salmon time. Yeah, any other questions from the chat? Anybody got questions about fishing? Sheridan Lake here is good fishing, says Gary. Yeah, it is, eh? Lake Lahash, Horse Lake. Horse Lake had a fire out there last night.
Did it?
Anyone got word on that fire out there? Anyone seen anything today in the world? Anyone in the chats know anything about the fire? You hear anything about that fire, Gary?
Although there is a volcano that could erupt within the next couple of months.
Like the one in Alaska you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about.
Is that not just a hype train or what?
No, there's an alert level as at yellow apparently on the website for the seismic, so I could maybe talk about that next week on our show with Mark.
I'm just looking now, and I don't see any fire activity. Oh, maybe I'm in the wrong place still. Just trying to double check on fire activity at that Horse Lake fire. But basically I'm not seeing any dots that correlate to a fire in the Caribou, so I guess not. There it is. No fire activity, so I guess they probably got a handle on it last night, I'm guessing. Or this morning. At least I hope so, because it's going to get warm enough tomorrow that it's probably going to do something. Horse Lake, though, yeah, has a couple hectares there lit off, and I believe it was from power lines. It's almost fish eating time here. Thanks for everybody for being part of the show once again. And Hilding, we haven't even talked to you yet.
Well, I had a yodel for your birthday there, Joey.
Oh, let's hear it.
Have a good year. Happy birthday to Joey.
Right on. You want to hear my new song I wrote?
Sure.
It goes like this. People told you I'm mental. I hit my head and I'm a vegetable. Even though I live down the road, I'm not good enough for your festival. Fuckers.
Yeah.
I'll narrow it down and refine it real nice, and then I'll make it into the fake Artswell's protest song.
Yeah. Well, use that for a protest when you need to protest somebody making their festival awful instead of awesome sometimes.
That's kind of what I feel like is happening.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just going to, you know what? I'm not even going to beat around the bush about it. Sam Tudor's the guy booking the show, and he's not from Wells. He's not been here all winter, and he's made no attempt to speak to anybody who does live here in terms of like any of us artists and musicians. So now he's got all his friends booked to come play a festival here, which we spent 16 years, some of us 19 or 20 years building.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and everyone's like, wow, I knew Artswells is coming. Fuck them. If you can't even talk down. And now here's the thing, Paul and Julie now run the Penticton Festival I was just at with Hilding in March. Many of you are aware. And Paul is like, hey, Joey, we want you to come down to our festival. And you get down there, it's like, it's the new Artswells. Right? Yeah. You know, for a block away, someone can't talk to you. Be like, hey, you know, we're going to do the festival again. Do you want to be part of it?
Yeah.
When people are asking me, like, is Artswells back for like the last 4 months? I'm like, I don't know. No one's talked to me. I have no idea what's going on. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't have an incentive to go back at the last little while. I mean, I've been getting my festival fixed at other places that I enjoy.
So, yeah, I don't know. But Snotty Nose Red's kids are coming to Quesnel.
Oh, yeah.
In
I saw that.
early June.
Go, Joey.
For only $40. You're going too, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, buddy. You have a good night. Mike McGregor out in Winnipeg. We're slowly narrowing down here. Just the last couple holdouts here. Houck and Hilding.
Yeah, that chorus that I yodeled for you is actually the chorus from my latest country song that I just wrote this week. And it's about the weather. It says, just look at that sky. Looks like rain. Well, it's been too dry. I hope this don't change because I've no money to buy my hay for another year. And then it keeps on going. It talks all about, you know, realizing that your cows made it through the winter and they're actually enjoying their calving and you're not having any troubles and you might be able to farm for another year, you know, just so typically country.
I feel like that being a YouTuber. When I put out a video after like I put out like 20 that get about 100 views, I'm like, oh my god. Then I put out one that gets 1,000. I'm like, good. We're alive for another week here. We're alive for another week here. Well, I'll tell you this story before we go here. I got closed windows here. So this story is 2 trips that Tyler and I had into the Caribou Mountains here. Here goes the story. So the first time we went was in May of 2020, and or June 2020, and it wasn't very nice out the whole weekend. Actually, you know, as you can see there in this nice photo of Tyler, that's Ghost Lake, and it's raining a lot. Ghostly. It rained a lot, and not only did it rain a lot, but nothing bit the whole time. Like not even a bite. Like it was dead. The fish were like, we don't care about anything. They just hadn't started their spring feed or whatever, you know. Like the bugs hadn't really started popping enough yet that the fish were really feeling it.
Anything.
Yeah, it was just dead, and we just got rained on a lot. And I mean, it was cool. I was like floating around there. I was like on shrooms in one of these pictures here, all high. There I am, just like fucking floating around the boat, just fucking high as hell, laughing. This is great. And stopped raining for a few minutes. So that was really nice. And then
just a few minutes.
Yeah, you know, and I said to him, and I took, you know, it's like, well, it's no different than when you know, if you stand in your backyard and refuse to go inside, it's not much different than just being way out here in the middle of nowhere and getting hammered. So this is about halfway from Likely to Wells, you know, the back road here.
Yeah.
So then what happened too is we get out there, and then it like warmed up really fast for a while in the afternoon and got not really clear, but as you can see, the ceiling's lifting and it's getting warmer. It was like really humid.
Yeah.
We went into the back cabin there for a minute, lit a fire. But at some point, I just had this realization. I was like, uh-oh, I think a thunderstorm is going to come in hammering. You know, and we had this moment of like, I don't know. I don't really remember too much, but I was like, I'm pretty sure I was just insistent. Like,
it was like, hey, we need to reel in and let's go like yesterday. Like, and I'm like, what, really? It's like, yeah, there's this crazy storm coming in. Like, we got to go. And I'm like, you're joking, right? He goes, no, like reel in, like, let's go, put it in like high gear and we got to move.
I was like trying to be as insistent as possible. Like,
and I trust Joey's instincts when it comes to the weather stuff. And I was like, okay, well, I trust you. Let's go. And we got back to shore just in the nick of time. And
all hell broke loose.
Yeah, it was nuts.
They like knocked trees down over the place on the road down to Likely. So it was nice that we were off the water, because like basically what we had there was well, there was like this boat that just kind of lives there called the Anal One, and if you have your own motor, you can like put it on it, kind of thing. Well, what we had was just his like electric trolling motor. So like, if you get into a real strong storm in the lake, you're not getting up the lake. You know, I kind of knew that. It's like, we need to be off the lake before it gets here. We went down to Caribou Lake after, and the next day was a little bit nicer, but we still got completely skunked, exhausted. And we didn't, basically, because we were hoping to eat fish, and we didn't have any food for like 2 days, except for, well, we did have these like kebabs Tyler brought here that I cooked on a rock there with them, and we...
It was like the best pork Slovakia I've ever had in my life. It actually ruined it from eating it ever again, unless it's that way.
Well, because we had all alder and willow and stuff that we put in there, and cottonwood and whatnot, eh? So it was like, had a nice smoky flavor. And then, yeah, then we finally got back to Wells, and I think we actually caught a fish in Wells. I think that was the irony of it. We got back to the Jacket Club's lake, and
You caught that lake, or?
Yeah, I caught a lake trout. And I was like, we went 80 kilometers into the wilderness, and
couldn't catch a fish.
Yeah, you know, turn around, come home.
It happens sometimes.
Throw one in. Oh, what's going on here? Why is Facebook so friggin' glitchy? Man, I hate this. I gotta go all the way back here now for some reason. And then, so we went back a couple months later.
Yeah, my grandpa had passed away then, and he was from this area and come back, hang out with you and go do the mountain thing, and redemption happened a bit.
Redemption happened.
They're the nicest looking little rainbows I've ever seen. Like, they have such a cool color to them as well.
Oh, wow.
The weather was spectacular. It was September. Like, you know, this says September 10th, so maybe it was the 9th or whatever at the time. And you know how the mountains can be, man. You get a nice, gorgeous, warm weekend in September or whatever, you know. It's your days are short. How many of those you might actually get? You might only get one really nice spell in September sometimes. Some Septembers you don't get any.
Well, that's where that quicksand was that I got stuck in.
Well, and there was also up the lake. We stopped there, and there was a nukshuk. Some hippies made a nukshuk there up the lake.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
So I made a little video where I it was like a short at the time or whatever, but before I really made videos. I did this is like the year basically later this year is when I started making YouTube consistently. When I started trying, right? So the video is called I come on like how to ruin a white man's day. And then it just shows like the nukshuk, and then you just see my foot like go kick it over. And so I put that up, how to ruin a white man's day. I thought it was pretty funny because everywhere you go in the mountains, you see like, you know, white folk are like making little inukshuks out of rocks and stuff. And it's like, you know, that's supposed to be like a giant thing for moving caribou around in the Arctic, like, but whatever. But that's what city people think you do, you know, like make the inukshuks. So I posted that video on the Facebook and people were furious. Holy, the anger, man. People were so mad, except all my native friends. They all thought it was funny.
Yep.
They all saw the humor that you put into it.
Yeah. And there you go. There's the anal one.
That was such a good trip.
The Gilligan's Island there. Look at how beautiful Ghost Lake is, eh?
Yeah, we definitely have to do a round 3 this summer.
Let's do her.
Those pancakes were great. The fresh blueberries, that was awesome.
Picking the fresh blueberries. He got up in the morning, picked all these berries.
Soaking wet sleeping bag and sleeping gear because that waterfall.
Yeah.
Nah, that was a good trip.
Yeah, even had you sleeping outside here. Look at that.
Yeah, sleeping under the stars. That was good.
I think I convinced you the first trip is like, you know, spending an hour putting up a tent. If it's the weather permits it, then yeah, okay, it's a good investment. But if the weather's nice, just sleep the fuck outside like I do, I say.
Yeah. Well, that A-frame that you built there when you forgot the tent pegs.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot tent pegs the one time we went out.
Or the tent poles.
Or poles. I had no poles, so I made an A-frame out of a bunch of sticks, and then I just put the tent like over top of the sticks.
Mm-hmm.
And slept underneath that, and it fucking poured so hard. But I didn't really get wet. Look at this tiny little fish, He's so cute. Look at that bay. It's like this is the upper end of Ghost Lake. The Ghost River comes in just over here on the left. And all these little fish like this, just jumping in the afternoon in the sun. Gorgeous place. Best place on earth. So beautiful. Can't wait to go back and slay a bunch of fish there. And look at that little motor pushes, Like it's even got little waves. Sleep on the ground like I like to. Chainsaw's pretty handy. People are like, what if a grizzly bear comes? I was like, you know, at least when I'm hiking, that's maybe a concern. But when you're sleeping by your chainsaw, like bring it on, man.
Like I was out in the logging block carrying a running chainsaw one time, and a wolf almost ran into me. Great big she-wolf.
All right.
Because I was in the wrong direction of the wind. She didn't know I was there.
Oh, yeah.
So I just stood there with my running chainsaw in my hand and turned around and looked at her, and she got down real low on the ground and crept right up to about 2 feet away from me and sniffed and sniffed and sniffed at my boot. And you know, I mean, there's no way that she's gonna do anything that you can't just drive a running chainsaw in and get rid of her quick, right? But then she just turned around and sprang sideways about 5 times out into the block. So she was about 30 feet away, turned around and looked at me, and then turned around and just pretended I wasn't there and trotted off into the wind.
That's crazy. Got lucky.
Ain't that
I found out she had 3 pups too.
Oh, you really got lucky.
Yeah, her pups weren't out hunting with her that day, or she might have charged me. But I mean, like, what could she do against a running chainsaw? And the chainsaw was actually running. I didn't shut it off, and it was in my hand.
This is the way the earth should be, man. Wild and free.
Yeah.
Not everything all cut down, mowed over, paved over.
Forestry.
You know, that's what the world should be like. This is what I love. This is how I want the world to be. It's like I go to the city to get groceries. I just feel so empty and, you know, so sad that this is like the best that humanity thinks we can be. Is I go back out to the mountains, and I love living here, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely a beautiful place to be.
Well, we've been on a long time tonight. Holy. Definitely the birthday edition. Thanks, beautiful photos, people are saying. Well, that's still 15 people watching. Isn't that amazing? Been a good show. Been a really good show. Been a fun time. And always good to see everybody. And like, well, let's just have one last look at this before we go to this is important stuff. So what are people saying here? Connor McDavid. It's not good. They're not going to win. Edmonton's not winning anything. Let's get that out of your head. You know, all Canadian hockey fans, don't get behind Edmonton. You know what? You gave them a chance last year. A lot of you were like, I don't like Edmonton. And, you know, then suddenly they beat Vancouver. And like, I'm cheering for Edmonton because I want a Canadian team to win. I was like, fuck that. I don't want to listen to Oilers fans for the rest of my life being like, we won another cup. We're the greatest team in Canada. You know, we have Connor McDavid, as if like they had anything to do with it. Like, what did you do? You didn't do anything. You're just a fan. And lucky you live in Edmonton. You're not lucky you live in Edmonton. Not at all.
I'm not cheering for Edmonton. No.
No. So, you know, don't, you know, and that's what I said too, is like, because last year was the first time I said, you know what? I've been in BC like well over 20 years. If I cheer for Vancouver, and I guess like for a long time I didn't want to cheer for Vancouver because when I first got here they were pretty good, and Leafs weren't at that time, which was fine by me. I came to BC, I was like, I'll cheer for Vancouver now that I'm here. Like when I lived in Alberta before I got to BC, you know, the winter before, I was watching both Flames and Oilers games. To me, I was like, it's nice to be able to watch hockey wherever you are in Canada, whatever. You know, I was still really naive Leaf fan. I didn't realize how much people like just hated Leafs fans, you know. So I got to BC and people were like, I'm in Vancouver and people who don't know how to skate are like making fucking jokes about the Leafs. So I'm like, have you ever skated before? He's like, well, no, but you know, I was like, what kind of expert on hockey are you? Fuck off, you know. And it was just like they're always picking on me, eh? Like, oh, Leaf fan, we're the best. We have Marcus Naslin, you know, like, ooh. Naslin, you know, Sedins, ooh, and it's like then Boston beats out Vancouver. I was like, ha, that's what you get. And then that's kind of like I went into a phase where I was just like, not only am I ambivalent now I just like, now I'm glad you lost. Screw you guys. Screw Vancouver. Screw the Canucks. So finally, I decided like last year, I was like, you know what? And I've kind of been inching that way for a couple of years. I liked some of the players they had, and I liked the way the team was looking. You know, at least was. And I was like, okay, I'm finally, and I went to a Leaf game and Canuck game, you know, and it was really fun for everybody there on both sides. And I just say, okay, you know what? I've been here long enough. I'll cheer for Vancouver. You know, if they're going against Edmonton, I'm going to cheer for Vancouver. Fucking rights I am. I'm all Vancouver now. And I was also with firefighters at the time who were all Vancouver fans. So it's like we're in our hotel rooms at night after the fire, fucking cheering, you know, it's right on. And then, of course, Edmonton beats out Vancouver. And then Vancouver fans like, well, I guess I have to go for Edmonton now. I was like, fuck that. I just spent 25 years. It took me 25 years to cheer for Vancouver. I'm not going to turn around next week and be like, okay, I'm Edmonton. You know, so Edmonton's had their chance. They're out. They don't get it. They don't cheer for Edmonton this year. That's okay. Carolina versus New Jersey. Who Carolinas? Who cares? New Jersey's not winning that one. So Toronto versus Ottawa. So Emily says that Toronto's going to win that one. She's correct. She's very smart. She's got Tampa Bay beating Florida. Interesting choice. Definitely what I do like is that Tampa Bay and Florida are going to beat the absolute snot out of each other. And we'll see if there's any team left by the time they get to the next round to play Toronto. Winnipeg, St. Louis. They're calling. She's calling for Winnipeg. You're going Winnipeg, right, Brandon?
Yeah, actually, I jumped on the Winnipeg station this morning. I was like, okay, I'll cheer since my Flames are out and I can't cheer for Edmonton. So I told everybody in Winnipeg that if I cheer for Edmonton, it's like the Winnipeg Blue Bombers cheering for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. You just can't do it. You just can't. So
it's like Maple Leafs fans recognizing the Ottawa Senators' right to even exist.
Yeah, pretty much.
You don't deserve to be a team. You know, but every Leaf fan thinks that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
so I get it. It's a provincial rivalry. Like even then, like, they're in their same conference as you. Like, it's a little dicey for me that suddenly you're on Winnipeg's. It's like, how much of a Calgary fan are you, Brandon? You can just go to one of your enemies like that. They're in a different division, though, right?
Yeah, we're a kind of different division, and plus my Flames are out, so. And I'm on Winnipeg's radio station, so I guess I gotta. But I'm not gonna say they're gonna win. I'm just gonna,
She's calling Avalanche over Lightning in the final.
Oof.
Yeah,
well.
I don't like that. What's Brian Compton? He's saying Ottawa wins the series. Brian Compton's a fucking idiot, so who cares what he thinks? Okay, on to Nicholas Constanica. He's got Ottawa too. I hate this guy. Jets over Lightning, though. That's nice. But the Lightning, why did the Lightning get another chance? Come on. Send Carolina or somebody else. Not like, come on. We've seen enough Lightning, Florida, Boston to last a lifetime.
I think it's going to be Washington and the Jets at the end.
Stars over Panthers, says William Douglas, staff writer. With Mikko Rantanen being the big contributor there.
Well, that would be interesting.
Stars over Panthers, says Tony Galiti. At least he's got Toronto beaten Ottawa. God, that's like the worst thing I ever heard. This person thinks Ottawa's going to win too. That Pete Jensen, you're the worst senior director of fantasy ever. Avalanche over Panthers. Yeah, Avalanche are pretty good. So far no one said Jets, are they? No one said Jets. No, yeah, this guy said Jets. So Nicholas Constanica, remember him. Who else is left? Pete Jensen's an idiot. We hate him. He says Ottawa. He says Avalanche over the Panthers. Boring. Adam Kimmelman, Avalanche over Capitals. Oh my God. They all say the same thing. At least he says Toronto beats Ottawa. I don't care about what happens after that. As long as Ottawa gets beat, then I can get on with my summer.
That's the good thing about the Canucks being out. I don't have to worry about the playoffs too much.
It's great, actually, when your team gets beaten out early, especially here when you've been waiting for. This is what happens when a playoff run happens and you're in Wells and finally you get a warm day in May, and it's like, especially when you're an East Coast team fan.
Yeah.
The game starts at 4. You're like looking out the window at all the nice weather as your team's getting stomped, and you're like, finally you get bounced by Boston. You're like, fuck, good in Game 7 overtime. Good, fuck, it's nice out. Let's fuck
Get
hockey.
on with life.
Get on with life. Golden Knights over Panthers, says Bill Price. This guy's horrifying. Although he does have Toronto winning, so that's nice. And at least he says Toronto beats Ottawa. Lightning over the Golden Knights. Oh, I hate this one. Sean P. Rourke. Someone fire him out of a cannon. Lightning over Avalanche.
Columbus Blue Jackets cannon.
Disgusting. Lightning over Avalanche. Ugh. I hate these predictions. Ottawa. David Satriano. You're evil. Toronto. Jets over Panthers. Here we go. David Stubbs. I can live with this. What's he got here? He's got Capitals beat Montreal. Yes! Because, it's like you don't cheer for Edmonton. I don't cheer for Montreal. I don't recognize Ottawa's right to even exist as a hockey team, let alone a city. But, Montreal, I recognize their right to exist. I just don't want them to win because they're our rival. And then what happens is if they win, all the French people are like, all these people who live all over Canada are like, I'm a Montreal fan. I'm like, yeah, you live in fucking Saskatchewan, man. He's got Winnipeg getting beaten the Panthers, and Connor Hellebuck's the big Conn Smythe winner. I could see this. They're probably guessing that Tampa or Florida beats Toronto out. I don't know about that, but I had a hard time believing that that Carolina. I think Carolina's really underrated here.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there.
No one said Carolina. This guy's saying Jets too, though. Derek Van Diest. He's got a Dutch name. He also agrees that Ottawa sucks. So I like him. And he thinks Edmonton. This is the only guy that says Edmonton's going to win. Did you notice that? Oh, this guy said it too. But everyone else is like, Los Angeles. It was like 5 in a row. Los Angeles. Edmonton, you're so beat. Mike Zeisberger too. Come on, this is a staff writer. Mike Zeisberger's good. He's got Golden Nets over. Oh man, the Knights beat the Panthers. I hate it. That's your Stanley Cup projections for this week. Awful stuff. But anyways, it's almost 9 o'clock, eh? So I'm ready to call it a night if you are, I suppose.
Yeah.
Thanks to everybody who's watching out there. Appreciate you. I'm sure you all have liked and shared and subscribed before, but appreciate if you do it again. Make a whole new YouTube account. Like and subscribe some more. Yeah, that's what prop us up. False propping. Okay, well, next week's Frankie. What's that, Hilding?
If you wanted that whole song that I wrote this week, I posted it in the group chat.
I didn't see that. There's like quite a while I stopped paying attention because a lot of stuff went out, especially yesterday.
Oh yeah.
I missed like everything going on.
Yeah. No, I just thought maybe since if you liked it, you'd give you a chance to listen to the whole thing because it is on there.
Right on. I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah.
So next week is Frankie's birthday on the same night, right? April 24th. Right.
So we need.
We have to
be ready to do the same things for him.
Yeah, except better.
Yeah.
Because Frankie's better. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's worth something.
Yeah, unlike the rest of us there, you know. Helen Chatterley says Carolina too. Yeah, I mean, Carolina, you know, they're a better team than people think. You know, people sell Carolina short. And it's not that I want Carolina to win, but I could live with that over the Panthers or Tampa Bay going to another final. Dear God. It's like Boston's missed the playoffs. It's time to turn the corner on those three teams owning everything forever. The East has been so tough to be a hockey fan in for years. Mm-hmm. Especially in that division. And like you look at Edmonton's division, it's like all these crappy teams that can barely make the playoffs. Edmonton's like, we beat the Los Angeles Kings. We're better than the Leafs. We won a playoff series. And like, you beat the Kings, dude. Like, no one cares. You weren't playing Boston 6 years in a row, first round, and then Tampa. That's what I gotta say about that. Go hockey teams. It's gonna be a great weekend. Just hope everyone has. You know what I love about this kind of stuff? It's like just talk shit and have fun. Enjoy it, right? Talk shit and have fun. Enjoy it, because there's only so many times you get to have. You know, hockey. There's a lot of Canadian teams in this year, at least. You know, there's 4 or 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody but Vancouver and Calgary.
Yeah. Thanks, Minnesota, and the Blues. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, you know what?
Yeah, we can only thank our own teams for their bad effort.
Well, what's before we go? What was Calgary's final record this year?
94 points.
Well, what was the spread? Calgary Flames record, 2025. Like how many wins, losses, overtimes? So they're 40 wins, 27. Actually, that was a little. They got to 40 wins. I'm a little surprised, but there's 14 overtime losses right there, Brandon.
That's why.
Yeah.
Right. So you know you can't blame St. Louis. You can't blame anybody when you got 14 overtime losses.
That's the same as the Canucks.
You know, 14 overtime losses, and so who'd you lose to there? You lost to. Let's see, who was the next? So Blues beat them by 2 points. So there you go. We turned 2 of those OTLs into 42, 27, and 12. You're in.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't blame them.
We were close.
You're close. In fact, closer than I thought you'd be, to be honest.
We were like right on the border. And Minnesota didn't score on Tuesday night, 20 seconds before the period ended against the Ducks. We would have been in the playoffs.
Crazy.
but they scored.
Like I said, that's what happened with the Leafs there in 2006, where they ended up finishing the season with the same amount of points as New York Islanders, and everybody was watching this game. It's like, if New York Islanders win this game and then it goes to overtime, and it's like, well, if they still lose in overtime, then they won in overtime. And it's like, and they were playing a team that was like a powerhouse team that was going to the playoffs who just dressed their fucking B squad. Like, well, we're not getting anyone that get hurt for this. And Leafs fans are like, no, dress your A squad, like resting all their stars, right? Like, and New York Islanders wins this game in overtime, and that one goal that they scored in overtime put them ahead. It was something like that. So
yeah, the Flames will have 96 points by the end of tonight, actually, too. So they're up 4-0 over the Kings. So 96.
Too little, too late.
Oh yeah.
So like, there's a positive and a negative out of this one, Brandon. The positive is like, hey, you're pretty close. In fact, if you asked me at the beginning of the season, I would probably have said, I bet you Flames missed the playoffs by 8 or 10 points. Right? Instead of missing by 0 points, just because another team had more goals or whatever. So there's the positive, but what the negative of that is you're going to draft like a mid-range pick instead of tanking. But I think it's time to throw the salmon in. It's time to get... I'm hungry, man. I'm ready to eat a big fish.
Yes. You deserve a big fish on your birthday.
In a small pond, you'll be a big fish. Yeah, sounds good. Well, good to see you all. We'll see you all next week. And
all right.
All that. Time to go smoke weed and relax and eat fish.
Have a good one, everyone.
Yeah, it was nice meeting you guys tonight. I'll maybe catch up with you guys on another one another time.
Sure.
Oh, yes.
Well, that's the show.
It is the show.
Okay. You guys are nice.